Hi guys, it says I'm live, so yeah. Hi. It's my birthday and I'm streaming and I'm in full on control and if anything screws up it's all on me. So just take this with a grain of salt. Hey Shenny, I did hit go live and it says end stream and I've got 20 seconds on the clock. So I'm guessing we're there. Thank you, everyone in the chat. Thank you for the happy birthdays. Hello, everyone. I'm going to bring on my first three guests because they were here before I was almost. So I'm bringing to the stage. I've got Domination. I know him as Dom. Hey, how you doing?
I'm good.
Good, good. We've got Squaw Bob here.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. And of course, we've got Brian as well.
Hello, hello. Happy birthday,
Hello.
Digger.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, so this is my stream. I honestly didn't have a whole lot planned. Just shooting the shit with you guys. Thanks, Bobby. Oh yeah, happy birthday.
Do you
um,
celebrate just the one day or is it like the whole month?
oh no, one day is more than enough for me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm an adult now. I don't need a whole week's worth of partying and stuff.
A whole week of gifts is out of the question.
Well, I've never gotten a whole week's worth of gifts, so
Oh.
that was never a thing. But yeah, no, we used to party hard. It's a summertime birthday, so we used to go and camp in the bush for a week. You know, do our teenager fun stuff.
In Canada?
Yes, it is stupid hot here right now, and the smoke finally hit the ground level. So the smoke
Uh-oh.
is it's thick enough now that it's there's no fresh air between it and the ground. It's all smoke. So woo woo.
Wow.
Wait,
Yeah.
like wildfire smoke?
Yeah, it happens every year. Some
Ah.
people live in tornado areas or hurricanes. I live in a fire zone. Hi, Dance. Thank you, thank you. Yeah. I'm blanking out all of a sudden. I'm like, okay, I got here. I did it. I'm live. You guys are here, so that I've got guests, and now I don't know what to do.
You see Meat's last comment? It's the fourth
Yes,
one up.
my eager.
How young are you today?
Oh, 45.
Wow.
45. Yeah. I'm officially in my mid 40s. I can no longer be my early 40s.
I
So,
would have guessed mid-30s
well, thank you. I
or early
appreciate
30s.
that. If I'm using a camera, I've noticed that this camera that I use is super generous. I have got sun damage. I've got a couple of spots here and here that are without pigment. My mom has vitiligo, so I've got a touch of it, and you can see the spots face to face. You can't see them here, but then if I go onto my tablet, it is so bad. I look like 30 years older than I actually am. It's so hyper obvious. It's horrendous. I've seen myself on a couple of replays of Jenny and I streams where I was outside, and it's not generous. So
Your kitty cat is on full display there.
yes, she likes to do that. She is she's an exhibitionist, I guess you'd say. But she's got these adorable she's got spots, not circles or stripes. She's got actual polka dot belly. So it's kind of cute from above.
What'd you get for your birthday? Anything?
Not much. I think my man is going to help me out with the screen situation. My TV died, and so
Oh,
I'm
no.
using my old TV that's supposed to be for my Wii machine because I don't actually have to see stuff to use the Wii. And so that's what I'm using right now, and everything's a lot darker than it should be. But I'm hoping that between him and I, and my father intimated that he might have a little bit spare cash for me, so for my birthday. So we're gonna put it all together and get me a good screen.
that's good. I mean, you can always go to like. Do you have Costco?
Yes.
Costco's got cheap TVs.
Okay. He actually works at a place where he gets a discount, and he
Oh, that
works in
works
the
too.
tech department. So yeah. My last TV was, what is that? I think it's 55 inches. It's huge. It's way too big for my place. The one that died is actually larger than the painting behind me.
Okay.
It's really, really big. But yeah, I'm just looking for something just big
So
enough
it's
so I
a,
can do this.
so that's a floor. That's a floor painting, huh? Is that
Yes.
for the cats to appreciate?
Honestly, it's for me to appreciate when I'm streaming. I've got another one hanging there, but you can't see it from the stream. So at least this way I can still see one of my Canucks. They're a series that the Canucks did back in the early 2000s when Pavel was just coming in, Pavel Bure, and they did different shots. The one you can see is the Old West one, and the one beside me is my favorite. They're all dressed up as 1920s gangsters. They've got the Stanley Cup, but it's all covered in like canvas, like they've stolen it. So,
Wow.
yeah, it was a really cool series. My dad and I are huge hockey fans. I know, Shenny, it is a little bit weird. I'm not, you're usually doing this. You're the talker. This is very, very different for me. Yes, I know, AP. Canucks gross, but the best thing about the Canucks is I don't have to expect anything out of them. I just get to enjoy watching them, play. Thank you, T3. I was going to call you talking trash, but I'll just call you T3. I may or may not have done a rather large dab before we went live. So that might have something to do with my sudden nervousness. Hi, Cat Ninja. How you doing? Yeah. So I do have a buy me a coffee. It's going through at the banner. Don't feel you need to do it. But if you do, I will try and keep track of them, and I'll do a dab for every coffee you buy me. How's that? I just got my month's supply. So I've got a whole bunch of options. You kids can choose what you want me to do.
Before you get paranoid, though.
Well, no, the ones that I've got set out are not going to make me paranoid. The one that I just did was to settle my nerves. So
did it settle your nerves?
Believe me, it did, because I was a wreck about, I don't know, say 15 minutes before we went live.
All right.
Yeah, I calmed down enough to get in here, and Dom was there, and Squab came in right away. So that helped a lot because we were able to talk, and it calmed me down. So I'm doing better. No, it's not coffee, Stingy. I'll pin the link. That would be, yeah, that would make sense now, wouldn't it? Yeah, so I don't know what you guys would like to do. You guys on stream or chatters, or and the people in the chat, what you want to do. But I'm pretty good for anything. I know, Stingy, you're always good for great memes. If you want to do that, anyone's got something funny, we can watch that. I've got games.
I do have a request.
Yes.
Off limit topics.
Uh-oh.
Trump,
You're
Biden.
cutting out.
Now we can talk about anything else.
Not politics?
It's not
Hello?
politics.
Yes, now we can hear you. So anything
Well,
but politics,
Trump or
right?
Biden.
Well,
let's
let's
maybe
just
later
no
on in the
politics.
stream that might come up. But something
Yeah.
just came out. Something just hit the wire about an hour ago. And I
About
don't want to discuss
Hunter?
it because we don't know anything about it.
About Hunter?
No.
No, a spot's
It's
opened
about-
up if you want to
Yeah,
run
they,
for president, Digger.
Oh,
Yeah,
I heard
we-
about
we need
that.
to-
Okay,
Yeah,
I heard
we
about
need to
that.
get you
He's
down
not
here
coming
and
back
get
next
you.
year.
We
Well,
need
if
to
you
get you a
guys won't
birth
let Ted
certificate
Cruz-
like Obama.
Yeah. But I don't know. If you won't let Ted Cruz run, I don't think I've got good chances. He was my side of the country too. I think he was in Alberta.
Wait,
I
he's a
can't-
Canadian?
Well, no, he's American, but he was born in Canada. His folks were here visiting, and he was born here. So there's some sort of
So he gets to be
conversation.
dual citizenship, right?
Yeah, I guess so. Yep. But
Well, he could
Well,
be Prime
some-
Minister of
some
Canada.
in
Well,
theory,
some
I don't think
countries,
anyone
if you
knows
want
him.
to claim the dual citizenship, you have to go through an official process to actually make that claim.
Well, we need to get Digger, on both sides.
My family did come, they came from Norway via France and Atlanta. So then from
She
Atlanta,
just
we went
needs
all the way
a
out.
Hawaii
west.
birth certificate. It'll be fine.
There you go. Yeah, it worked for. We were having well, not an argument, but my man and I were actually discussing how Barack came by his name, who his father was, how he ended up going from Barry Soto to Barack Obama, and I found so many different stories on who he's named after, how he was named, why he changed it. I don't know what the truth is. We found 6 or 8 different versions of it online from credible sources.
Yeah, the air quotes are needed. Credible.
Yeah. But
Well, even Hawaii, he just made it by a couple of years, right?
okay. I
Because
know I didn't.
They didn't become a state till right before I was born.
Really?
Right after I was born. Was it 59?
See, I don't know at
I think
all.
it was the late 50s. Yes, I think that is
Yeah.
correct.
Born to
Yeah, there
American
were-
parents, he can run. There you
were
go.
only 48 states when I was born, so we missed a
Oh,
couple.
cool. We gained one. We gained none of it.
I
But
thought we would.
called
I
it
thought we
none
would
of it,
gain
so-
more. I thought we would gain more when the Democrats got in power, actually, but I don't guess that was a high thing for them.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. JK. Hi. He says Ted Cruz was born in Alberta. So yeah, that's literally next door. And I am on that side of the interior of BC. So, he was born in Alberta. He drinks milk from bags, drives a car with square wheels, throws Captain Crunch at weddings. Exactly.
What?
I mean, what else do you do?
I'll just throw Captain Crunch at a wedding.
Well, what else are you going to throw? You can't throw rice because it'll kill the birds. Our geese, those are our spy machines, You may have spy pigeons. We got spy geese, and they cover a lot of the planet.
You
And
got Canadian gooses.
aren't they protected up in Canada too?
Oh, heck yeah. Yeah, they
Yeah,
are all over my town in particular. And the Richie Rich people who built up on the hilltop overlooking the lake got really angry because they come in and they live on the beach. And they're pooping everywhere and they're making all sorts of noise. So the Richie Rich folks got together, and now there's people that go out early in the mornings in the summer and they fire off guns or cannons or something, makes a whole lot of noise,
Wow.
scares all the geese off, and then they'll kind of slowly come back over the day. But yeah, it's quite interesting, and our city pays for it. But yeah, they're pretty awesome. They're mean as all get out, but
AP likes to eat them.
oh, they do taste good. They do. Oh, hi, Jody. Thank you very much. Yes, they're Canada geese, not Canadian geese. That's right. That's right.
Canada
Hi,
gooses.
John. No, always geese. They're not mooses.
Gooses.
They're
The Letterkenny
always
reference.
I always
You
thought the
totally
rice
watched
thing.
Letterkenny.
I always thought the rice thing was funny because living in kind of southeast Texas where we have a lot of rice fields, and I watch
Yeah.
all the birds eating the rice out of the rice fields, and they don't explode and die.
Oh, I
How is
know.
that
Yeah,
possible?
It's
It only
the
works with
strangest
wedding
thing.
rice.
only with the weddings. That's right. But we started in Canada, at least. I spent the first 2000s through 2010 ish, 11. still doing makeup, and my bread and butter was weddings in the summertime. And it got to the point where no one used the rice to save the birds, so they were all using the blowing bubbles. But then that was a thing because there's so many bubbles and soap going around that it's landing on the plants and it's killing off the plants, so people can't take pretty pictures.
Oh, I was at one when the bride
was
got hit in the
insane.
eye with a bubble.
Oh, I haven't seen that one.
No, I was there. It was like my cousin's wedding.
Oops.
Well, we squabble of birdseed. Just throw birdseed.
Well, see, that's it too, except then your dress is all covered in birdseed all night. So
I wouldn't know. I don't wear
yeah,
dresses.
JK saying throw birdseed too.
What's the deal with throwing stuff at newlyweds anyway?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure where that all started in the first place, but
Can't throw rocks anymore, so
oh, maybe that was it.
I have no idea. I was just
I have a friend in private chat. She says she's got the Heineken ready to toast. So I don't know if you guys are drinking anything with me or if anyone out there is drinking, but here's a toast to me for my 45th. And more importantly, here's a toast to all of you guys, because the last couple of years I have had more socialization than I had in the last 10. You guys make my day-to-day life happy and fun. You give me something to look forward to. And yeah, this whole community, you guys are just great, and you have no idea. I can never tell you just how much of a difference you've made in my life. So this is to all of you guys, okay? Cheers.
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 Yeah, you're almost ready to leave the house.
Almost. I actually, a couple of times now, I've walked home from my doctor's appointments. I use a special, I use the short bus. my province has something called Handy Dart, and what they do is they run just like the regular buses do, but you book your appointments, your rides in advance, and they'll pick you up from your home, drive you to wherever you need to go, then they pick you up and bring you back for the same price as a bus ticket. So it's awesome. It saved me hugely when my mom moved away because she was my ride. But yeah, it's the short bus, and I have managed to walk home from my appointments rather than wait around for the bus to come and get me again. So that's huge, and that's happened in the last couple of years. So
I thought
step at a
everybody
time.
in Canada had like horses.
Oh goodness, I wish. I wish. There are a lot of horses around here, but only the richy rich can afford them. So there's a lot more of us cattle farmers. Well, not us. I'm not a cattle farmer, but there's a lot more cattle and pigs and sheep. We've got a huge amount of orchards.
You can probably ride a sheep.
You probably could. They get big enough.
I could definitely ride a sheep. I'm a damn manlet. Oh man, it'd be great.
Oh, okay. Shetty, I'm catching up here. Yes, 45 is a good number. I like it, and I don't feel bad at all about being 45. I know some people throw a fit or get really upset, but I hit 40 and it's been okay getting older every year since. So I don't know what I was worried about in my 30s. Now, Shenny says it represents the kidnapping of females from villages and throwing items at the departing kidnappers. So that's why people threw rice. So, okay, then.
So it should have been rocks. I was right.
Yeah, it started with it.
God, who would have thought?
That kind of makes sense because, yeah, like back in medieval times, there were, at least in Scotland, they had the lord's rights. So the lord of the land could come in and take the bride on her wedding night and ravish her and then send her back home to her brand new husband. And then that way They never knew for sure who the first child belonged to, and you know.
Well, my brother made me a Scottish laird last Christmas.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That's so cool. I was thinking about doing that for myself because I thought,
Wait, you mean the whole like you get like a couple of square feet of land or whatever?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And a
Didn't
tree,
they
yeah.
find some problems with that though?
No,
It can be. There's some, I don't know.
I think the problem is there's some idiots out there who really thought that it meant something, and that
Yeah.
you could
Right.
use this title for stuff.
Like you could
But
join Parliament or something like that. You
yeah,
can't
yeah,
do
it
that.
gives you special rights, but it's really not. Ride a sheep and save a cowboy. That was a Wyoming thing. Yeah, that's
Established
definitely not.
titles.
BC and Alberta, we've got a whole lot of cattle. My mom's family comes from cattle in the they call that area the Caribou, and it's one of the furthest and least developed parts of BC. It's as close to the Old West as you can still get. So it's all about cattle, and they just roam. It's brilliant. Jody's going to be Oh, Jody, you're going to be 67 on Sunday. That's awesome.
That's how old I am, 67.
Right on. Well, Jody, meet Squab. Squab, meet Jody.
Hi, Jody.
Jody and I have been friends via our church chat for a while now. So she's a good friend of mine. And I'm glad, I know you've got to go. So hopefully you caught this because I'm fairly close up in time. So I hope you caught it. Thank you so much for coming. Now, Stingy sent me something.
Oh, please don't.
Oh,
wait, yes. So I thought you meant the thing he sent you in Discord.
Well, no, that's probably what he's talking about. But see, my computer gets really angry if I do like Discord and streaming at the same time. So unfortunately, Stingy, I get to
you
I
can
get
view
to
it
check
alone,
things.
and then you get confused like I did because I couldn't tell. It's very, very, very hard
no.
to figure out.
Okay, well, it's from me right now, so I think it's safe. Oh yeah. So now the trick here is how do I get this to this?
By doing this, I go like this. I save it into my computer, and then I just
you
share
got
my
it?
screen.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll do that for you.
Okay, thank you. I haven't figured out that bit yet.
That's a couple of steps. Why is this blurred to oblivion?
Well, that's why it's good to have one person backstage that can manage your documents for you.
Oh, see, I didn't know you needed such a person.
Well, Brian just volunteered, so
yes. I'm so lucky. I've always even though Shenny and I were doing it on the weekly, she always did everything. I feel a little guilty because I let her do everything. But it's time for me to figure out how to do some of this stuff. So like I figured out how to do the banner, which was, that was simple.
That's good.
That was simple. I am still having a heck of a time. I tried to go live 3 different times this last week with a series I want to do, but I kept getting stuck at the thumbnail. I've got the picture, but every time I tried to load the thumbnail, it wants me to select like a third of it, and I can't get it to select the whole thing, and no 1/3 fits enough of it in to, make any sense. So I get frustrated and I leave because that's how I work.
What a boomer.
Yeah.
That's
See, I was
probable boomer. I think you're still
Yeah.
boomer age, right? What's boomer age? 70?
No.
now?
Well, no, I'm definitely Gen X. I'm tail end of Gen X. I lucked out. I was born in the 70s. I was born in 79. So I was born in the best, most fun generation.
46 to 64 are boomer years.
46 is 84?
No, 46 to 64.
Oh, okay. 46 to 64. See, I didn't realize that changed. I thought that was strictly a generational thing, but I wondered because there's so many of us who do boomer things.
Well, it depends on whose definition that you want to go by. But the generally accepted is boomer is anyone that was born from basically World War II up until the beginning of the Vietnam War.
Okay. Yeah. I know that we're my brother and I are at the tail end because he keeps getting cut out. I'm 79 and he's 81. And depending on whose scale you're looking at, 81 is a millennial or he's a Gen X, but he grew up thinking he was Gen X. So we all thought Gen X. So I don't know. But yeah, I grew up. I was there when the first personal computers came into the home. I was a little kid in elementary school. That's why my name Digger 420 is Digger 420 because I chose that internet name when I was about 16 years old, and that's all I was about. I was always hanging in the bush. We lived in the forest after graduation for 2 months. We lived in the bush, and
Off of berries?
pardon?
Off of berries?
No, we we had a brick. My buddy had one of those brick cell phones, so we would hike an hour and a half to 2 hours out to the first street, and then we'd order our pizza and our pops. And occasionally, if we got the right cab driver, we'd get him to pick up booze for us. And then we'd all hang out at the cul-de-sac there until he came,
Oh
and
my
he'd
god.
deliver it to this group of, teenagers. We'd pay him, and then we'd hike an hour and a half, 2 hours back into the bush to the campsite. So I used to hike 2 hours from the campsite to work at Wendy's, and I do my full shift at Wendy's and then hike back to get to the campsite again. It was I was very active at the time, but I was also doing drugs that allowed me to be very active at the time.
Jeez. Is the video that I have pulled up the video that Stingy
my-
sent you?
You
Was
know
it-
what? I have to scroll down because this screen is smaller than my old screen, and I don't know how to change the view, so I'm not seeing everything that I should see on my screen. And I've got people here.
You do.
I do. So
It is-
yes,
it
Brian,
is.
it is the right one. I am going to play this, and then
Well, I have to play it. You can pull
you're
it
gonna
up.
play it, and then I'll
hope-
bring in the next two.
I hope sound goes through, but if it doesn't, then we got problems.
Okay.
Sound.
No sound.
Shit. I can't do it then.
Okay. See, and that's fine because I couldn't do it either. I have no idea how to share my screen and not have the sound come out of my TV for some reason. It doesn't come into my headphones. It comes out of my TV and no one else can hear it.
Don't know.
Yeah, again, I don't know. I don't do tech, which is why I've always been kind of nervous about doing this.
So I think it's a browser thing. Like, I think Chrome will work, or Edge might work. Firefox never works in terms
Okay.
of sound getting through. It's been a
Gotcha.
problem.
That's another reason why I have to keep Discord closed too, is because Discord keeps wanting to boot everything else off my mic. So it wants to take control of my mic at all times, even when I'm in the middle of something else.
Yeah.
But I've got two new people to come on up. Here comes, hello, Nuclear Acorn. How you doing?
Well, howdy.
It's an Akron.
Akron. And I've
Akron.
got Cool Frog. Hi, Cool. How you doing?
Hey,
How are you?
Coolio.
What up? Happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you.
Happy birthday.
I thank you very much.
She's
I have a-
35.
I have the exact same Heineken that you have right there, the green bottle and everything. I haven't
Oh, sweet.
opened it yet because I wanted to toast with you.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, no,
to,
I've
to be fair, for the audio that didn't play on the clip, Alex Jones saying I'm kind of retarded. It kind of really,
Oh, we all know what he's saying then.
yeah. He just that's
So we can hear it in our mind.
Yeah,
Right, we all
can
heard
hear
it. We all heard it.
Okay.
It's all
Okay.
good.
It was you
Well, then-
like stammering a little bit in the beginning, and then Alex Jones going, "I'm a little retarded," and I'm like,
well,
"I don't
there you
get
go. I am definitely.
It's all good.
I am definitely a little retarded. I
So,
like
Digger?
to. Yeah.
May all of your birthday wishes come true,
Oh, thank you.
especially the illegal ones.
Yes,
You?
I like that.
And I hope your cake is as sweet as you are.
Thank you. My man bought me exactly what I wanted, so it's going to be perfect. Thank you.
Cheers. I'm taking a sip.
Thank you. Dance is saying sound only works when sharing on Chrome when using StreamYard. Okay. Hi, OG. I missed you coming in.
That's not true.
His TV is 3D, but no lady comes out of his TV.
It only works when you actually share the audio tab. The way he was sharing it, because most likely it was a video file that was in the back room. If you went over to the far side and actually hit the share full screen and then hit share audio, it would share the audio.
Not on Firefox.
Well, who the fuck uses Firefox?
I
Why
use
can't-
Firefox.
Oh,
Why can't everything
sometimes.
just be simple, you know?
Well, yeah.
but back in the early 19.
Once upon a time, it really was plug and play.
I'm just saying, Firefox is so old. I don't know who uses Firefox.
I use. it
You're the
for
only
certain
one.
Things.
You're
I
the
use
only
it for
one.
a couple of things.
Congratulations, congratulations. How's sourcing your own function work?
See, now I understand that you're trying to be a smartass, so I'm laughing, but that
Well,
went right over. And I have no idea what you're talking about.
Because
Function?
Firefox is all open source, and if he's the only one that's there,
Oh,
He's
okay.
the
I see.
only
What you mean.
one
He's the only
that
one that's
sourced
got the
himself.
source. Right. I gotcha.
See, Digger,
Firefox
you-
is older than me, Dance. It actually is.
You have to enter the matrix and then do it yourself.
OG,
Oh,
what up,
goodness.
man?
Oh goodness.
OG, I called those guys out last night for the ignorance. Just saying.
Oh,
Oh no, it was released in 04. I'm older than that, not much, but older.
Digger,
yes.
when you were younger,
Hmm.
what is your favorite toy that you've gotten for your birthday that you've always wanted and you flipped out and you just were so overjoyed? Do you remember?
Not my birth. Well, I got a bike. Oh, actually, yeah, I had a Kuwahara bike. Brand spanking new Kuwahara bike. It was like purple with sparkles, like a dark purple with sparkles. And I was able to ride that and do the jumps that we'd build in the street. And I could also ride it all through the forest and up the hills and whatnot. So that was probably my favorite birthday present. Favorite present overall, I had to share with my brother. It was the original Sega. And then,
Did you ever fall off your bike?
oh, all the time.
Like you take it on sick jumps?
Totally. Yeah, I didn't know any better, but I never really broke any bones. I broke the one finger, but that wasn't from doing anything, actually dangerous. That was just silliness. I was walking around a corner and I accidentally punched the edge of a corner of a wall, and so yeah, I broke the one finger.
Excuse me.
Oh.
OG says he found an ounce of cocaine on his 12th. It was life-changing. Holy Hannah, I'll believe that. See, I started drinking at 12. I started smoking at 13, but I didn't discover pot or other drugs until I was 16. So I was
Yeah.
lucky. My brain was mostly developed before I started ruining it.
You ever dipped acid? LSD?
Oh, heck yeah. That's why do you think we were living in the bush for months at a time?
Damn.
I actually did that once. I knew I was getting off of work soon, and I knew when my friends in the bush were going to drop. So I dropped on my last break, knowing it would kick in just as I was getting off of work. But then someone called in sick, and I had to work at least, I don't know how long they wanted me to work for, but they needed me to stay longer. And I think I got about an hour and a half into the overtime, and one of my buddies, we were all friends, and one of my buddies told me to just go home because I was tripping too hard. I was tripping. I was watching the meat like pulse on the grill and didn't
Whoa.
really care if it was done or not. The tomatoes were doing funny things, and yeah, so they sent me home.
It's probably for the best, I'll be honest.
Yeah, oh yeah. My girlfriend was there. She dropped with me. So we were at the same level and we ended up tripping balls hiking back to the bush. We were having visual hallucinations and oral hallucinations that we were sharing. So we both saw the same red Chinese style dragon come flying down the hill, and then whoosh, it literally like right skimmed the top of our heads.
So you had
We
the
both-
same hallucination.
Same hallucinations and audible as well. I think it was my neighbors because I stopped to get some clothes, but they were having a party next door. And I don't know if it was because we were tripping, we couldn't understand what they were saying, or if they were doing it on purpose. But it was the weirdest conversation I'd ever heard. And she heard it too.
So
Have
if
you ever
I
had
visit,
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
if I visit Canada, everybody's in the woods then, huh? I'm just wandering about in the woods.
Strangers
Fire
in
you
the
burning woods.
Not so much anymore. The only people wandering in the woods these days are the ones setting the fires. So,
That's
know.
what I said. The fiery burning woods.
Yeah, we're not really supposed to be. Well, the fire ban has been on since before, before it was needed. Yeah, we never get to have campfires in the summer anymore. But because of the campfire bans, it forces people who want to break them to go deeper into the bush that is not being taken care of. And that's why there were 81 fires over the weekend in BC. And then
Wow.
over the last 24 hours, I was reading this. So it would have been Friday to Saturday in my area, there was 100.
Jesus.
So, yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. So I don't know how the province wide had 81, but over the weekend, and we managed to have 100 in a 24-hour period. But it depends on which news you're looking at, the local or the provincial news, right?
So
Have
we
you ever
just
had
need to we just need to depopulate Canada, huh?
No, we just need to allow the residents
on
to
that.
do the proper fire control. There's all sorts of stuff that the province used to do, that the reservations used to do, that, the farms and orchards and stuff used to do, but they've passed laws so that we're not allowed to do it, and they don't do it. And then
you
they're
need Donald
surprised.
Trump to come up there and tell you to rake the woods.
Oh my goodness. If we could have, we've got some guy, Maxime Bernier. I'm sure he's as dirty as all the rest, but he is Canada's Trump. He wants to do Canada first. He wants
you
to
go.
do,
Green Trevea.
Canada
He's-
first. There's nothing that Canada has.
well, no kidding.
Maple syrup.
We could have a lot. We've got more mineral resources than you guys do. We've got more water than you do. In
You're
theory,
closer to the North Pole than we are.
It's all frozen, but it's there.
yeah.
It's
If-
there, true.
Hey, climate change is a real thing, right? So it's going to melt right through us.
Yes, climate change is a real thing. Mhm. It
Yeah.
changes all the time.
All the time. Hi, Chris B. How you doing, hun? That's my man, just so people know. Chris
Chris
B in the chat.
B? What
Yeah.
up, Chris
Chat.
B?
Hello.
Hi, Ann. Yes. He is out, and if his son doesn't try to run, my man's gonna be disappointed.
Biden is out. Biden did actually say he's out. There's a
Chris is
formal
gonna
letter.
Chris is
there's
gonna
all
vote
types
for Hunter, huh?
of crazy.
Well, yeah. That's what I was gonna say.
Hunter.
I don't-
Who would you guys
don't believe-
choose?
I don't believe anything until after the election's over.
Yeah. Mighty, I will fight you over Lake Superior. I will. Actually, you know what? No, you can have Lake Superior. It's nasty. You can have that one.
You ain't touching Michigan either.
I mean, you peed kind of Canada anyway.
Weren't we actually trying to give away that little
Hi,
hump in
Christine.
Minnesota?
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
Trying to give you that back.
They want to give it to Wisconsin is what they should do, but I don't think Minnesota really cares. Minnesota, there's a small little border that they share with Michigan up in the middle of the lake. The rest of it, they don't really care. They can't- whatever.
Doesn't Wisconsin bully those other states though?
Wisconsin? Wisconsin's just a little bitch.
Oh, it's the other way around. Okay.
Wisconsin's got a Napoleon complex.
I think it depends on who you're talking to.
Everyone there thinks they're the big cheese, but they ain't.
Which province in Canada is the biggest bully?
Ottawa. No, sorry, stupid Lanny. No, Quebec. Quebec is.
Quebec.
got-
Isn't Quebec gonna be your
Oh.
bully?
Quebec
Definition in
has
Quebec.
control.
It's not the. It's
I
not
mean,
the
I
northern-
even called it correct. It's Quebec, but yeah,
It's not the Northern Territories.
Crazy.
Is that still
I
a
don't think
province?
Northern Territories even get considered in the national politics scheme. Honestly,
They're like the
Mhm.
Yukon or something. Ain't they?
exactly. They're like the Yukon or us or well, no, Alberta's hated by our federal government. The only reason BC's not hated anymore is because Trudeau likes to come and vacation here, which he's doing right now as we speak in an undisclosed BC location with his family.
Oh,
So-
he's on your back porch, huh?
He's somewhere, yeah,
Oh.
but they can't tell us because
He's living in the tunnels
wouldn't
underneath your
work.
house.
he is somewhere. You couldn't tunnel underneath my house to save
You
your
got
soul.
Jewish tunnels under your house?
I'm not
No.
gonna make that.
You're the only one who's allowed to, I think.
It's her tunnels.
Yeah.
She dug
No,
them.
Pat.
Hello, Christine. How you doing?
Nadarata van de smartphone sharing magmahekaliarik do ya.
What?
Whoa. You actually oh wow. Now was that
Oh, sorry. I didn't know
Hebrew
my
or
microphone.
was that the slang oh shoot, what's it called? Your slang.
Not English.
Yeah, no. Oh, I can't remember. It's like part Hebrew and part English.
Yiddish? No.
Yiddish, thank you. That's what I'm thinking. Is that not a slang language?
Hard to explain.
Or is it more of like a territorial thing?
That's closer. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought it was more of a slang thing that was made up in America and Canada. I didn't realize it
What
was
kind of slang language do they have in Canada? Is it the French Canadian?
Yeah.
The Nookish.
Silly
Uh,
Leon. You know that?
Quebec French is not the same French as you would hear in France. It's
like
a
the
slang
same-
French.
Here in Texas, we have a Spanish that they don't speak in Spain. So
Oh,
it's
yeah.
the same but different.
Yeah, that's what the Quebec are. It's similar but different. I was in French immersion for almost my entire school career, so I learned proper France French, and it's very, very different once you start talking to a Quebecer. Everything they say is slang, and they've got words that I don't recognize. I have to use Google
Damn.
Translate still every now and again.
Would you
To
assume that it would
understand.
be like westernized is what it would be?
I guess so. There's so many of the Acadians, right? The French who came in early on and started settling and taking native brides and yes, Quebec. They do have some really
Quebec.
awesome architecture,
Quebec.
but yeah, they are pretty. Mind you, I'm saying it full on BC. I'm not using my accents at all. So Quebec is how it sounds when they speak. That's how it sounds in my ears. But I think it's supposed to be Quebec. So
Do all
I
the
don't know.
K-pop, do all the Canadian K-pop bands come from Quebec?
they've got a really awesome like a black metal band. Bobby actually sent it to me. They were pretty good. I was surprised. But Killary, her family comes from good, strong Acadian stock. And she actually they have property. The Clintons have property in Quebec. So they
Uh-oh.
yeah, her family and the Trudeaus, I guess, grew up knowing each other because they're the famous families in Canada.
Oh, it's
Right,
all
like-
making sense now.
Yeah, see, there are old school Canadian families, just like there's old school American families. They maybe not as powerful because we did have, we had the queen, the king, and then the queen. But we've got our old school family network as well. And the Trudeaus are definitely a part of it. More like Gaybeck. Totally. Dom,
you-
yeah. Oh, go ahead.
Have you ever had a paranormal experience out in the woods?
Not that couldn't have been blamed on the drugs I was on.
Not a sober paranormal experience
No.
ever.
I've
Okay.
never had any. Actually, I had a China doll once upon a time. And one of the houses we lived in, I was in the basement, and we had a door in the wall right next to my bed that opened like the Amityville Horrors basement door. Like,
Oh.
do you remember? It was kind of like a barn door sort of looking thing, and it just opened inside the
Yeah.
basement. Well, I had one that looked exactly like that, a couple of feet from the side of my bed. And I hated the doll, so I kept throwing it under the far corner of under the stairs, but it always managed to end up back in the house somewhere. So that
Jigga, you
might have been
smoking?
paranormal. I am. I wasn't at the time, though. That was my little brother.
It's about 20 minutes after. That's what I'm asking. Are you smoking?
Oh, yeah. See, I'm behind the times.
Wow, Boomer.
It's only 2:30 right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's
the perfect time
19.
for
It's
me.
19 after for. It's only 3:19 for me, but whatever.
There you go.
We're
It
20
sounds
now.
good.
There
yes.
it is. There's the 20. Cheers.
420 here in
Alright.
Texas. Yep.
Cheers.
420 here in Chicago.
Oh, shoot. I need. You know what? It's going to take me a minute. So you guys can watch me fumble about and prepare without seeing it. So YouTube, we're good. I did a quick search and I
Fucking YouTube.
cannot show it, and that's okay. I can not show.
It's okay. It's YouTube. I get it.
Yeah.
YouTube
Yeah.
is YouTube.
And then I tried very hard. I was gonna,
Which
because
is
I
the-
know what
which
I'm
is the reason
doing.
that I sit there and I don't do the YouTube.
Yeah. see,
I've been doing the Rumble exclusively for that whole reason or whatever, because we can do all the things, say all the things.
you
and
might
not worry
know
about it.
this. How do I get it so that, because I found out this morning that I cannot link my YouTube channel and stream there as well unless I pay for this stuff, which I cannot afford to do.
Correct.
Well,
Is there a way to use StreamYard only streaming to Rumble, not YouTube?
Yeah, I'll get
Yes.
you the API.
Okay.
I'll get you the
Okay.
API. You might give me a day or whatever. I'm
No
gonna-
worries.
I'm gonna put a message in our DMs between us or whatever, so
Okay.
that way I remember to do so.
Yeah. I gotta go all the way to the bedroom to get my lighter.
Otherwise, I'm
Gotta
gonna
remember,
totally
baby.
forget to get you the API.
I
Okay.
only use Rumble also. I never started YouTube.
Okay.
Now
Yeah,
I'm
and I
using
think that was the
StreamYard.
thing. I started YouTube, so it was like an automatic StreamYard just assumes that's where I'm headed. And now they won't
So
let
n-
me add Rumble.
So no, the interesting one is if you actually take yourself over to the Rumble side of things and use the studio. The studio allows you to stream from Rumble to YouTube.
Okay. And I don't
Just
have to
saying,
pay?
you can go the other way
Free.
around, and you don't have to pay a dang thing for anything.
Nice.
Oh.
I haven't. I cut my
that's the
stream.
big
I cut
thing
my
for me.
StreamYard. I haven't been paying for StreamYard for the better part of a couple months, and I'm excited because I've been saving myself money.
I have never paid for StreamYard. I can't afford to do such things.
Well, I kind of needed to because I needed the room.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, and yeah,
we
see-
would always sit in rooms of because you're sitting here now. You room of 6. You're max.
Yeah.
So now
Yeah.
anybody else that's trying to come in, if you see it up at the top corner saying room full, somebody's trying to come in or whatever.
Oh, wait, what?
Somebody's trying
Wait,
to come
what?
into your room.
What do I have to check? 'Cause
Oh,
I-
yeah, right. In
Do I
the
have to
corner of
scroll
your
back
stream,
up?
in the top left corner of your StreamYard,
where it says
if
live?
somebody's attempting to try to come in here while we're all sitting here, it's gonna show a white bar. This is somebody's trying to enter your room.
white bar where it says live and the countdown
You'll see it
is?
flash right across your StreamYard.
Oh, okay, good. 'Cause the
Uh-huh.
only thing I see is the white bar up top. that
It'll
says
come
it's my
across. Somebody
party.
try coming in. You'll be like, oh, somebody's trying to come in here. The room's
Okay.
full.
Do you see any white lines?
She'll
There-
see
not
it. She'll
across
see
the
it flash
StreamYard
because it'll flick.
screen.
It'll flicker. It should actually give her
Okay.
a visual. I'm guessing you'd see it if you're
Okay.
watching your StreamYard.
Yes, I am doing that.
Exactly.
So-
You'd see it if somebody was
I
going to
know.
try coming in. You'd be like, "Oh, somebody's trying to come in here."
Okay, so it actually flashes on the screen. That's cool.
It does flash on the screen if somebody else is trying to come in.
Because yeah, I had you
But that's
and
but that's
Acorn
why I'd
sitting
always
behind the
I
screen.
pay for it just to get the room, to get the 9, get the 10 or whatever.
I gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
I gotcha. Okay.
I'd never be able to keep a room of 6. It's
What
so
is it?
hard.
What does it feel like to have more than one monitor? I would be so confused.
Me too.
I used to have 4.
I got 3 27-inch monitors on front of me. It's not enough.
You need to get you need the arm so you can have one above your first monitor. As long as you have enough slots on your
Yeah,
device.
it's really dependent on how you kind of feel about it or whatever. So it's like I got these 2 tied to the main PC, and then I got this one tied to a laptop or whatever. So it's got gameplay because there's nobody else in the house at the time. I'm here by myself. I've been here by myself for the last 3.5 days.
Oh,
They went camping. I'm still laid up from injury and shit. So I'm just like, nah, I ain't camping nothing. She's like, really? I'm like, nah. No way that I'm taking myself out in the campground.
have you ever tried to go to a Trump rally?
Have I tried to?
Yeah,
No.
because
I haven't.
Mighty May tried to go to one, and like the whole city.
I
was just
should have.
lined
I
up
should have
outside
went to the
door.
one that was here in Rapid or whatever. But I didn't.
Yeah. Oh, there was nobody getting in. They were all outside.
Uh-huh.
He live streamed it, and it was like, damn.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Mighty's
I usually
here.
live stream everything. So
What did he walk, like 6 blocks?
Ah, there it is.
So it did pop up.
Okay, so the only reason it flashed on my screen was because I saw that Mighty was in the backstage. So I still have to scroll down to make sure that I'm not ignoring like I did Acorn and Cool Frog. So sorry, Mighty, you gotta wait.
No, it's okay.
No.
I'm gonna head out so I can go take some
Oh.
medicine and ice my jaw real quick.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you so much for showing up.
Yeah, thanks for
The
inviting me.
Joe.
Happy birthday, and
Yes,
see you
take
later.
care of your
See you later,
mouth.
everyone.
Bye, Brian.
Bye.
nice to meet
Hiya.
you, Brian. What up, Mighty?
Hey,
Long time no
Yeah.
see.
you didn't have to let me in. I was just showing you. I was just.
He
Oh,
wanted
okay. You were
to
doing the-
demonstrate.
Now you're here, so
Well, shit.
Oh, shit.
Now you're stuck.
oh
Happy
my
birthday.
God. Thank you. I am just going back. OG is on fire as per normal.
Yeah, always.
Oh, Chris says tell them about the night the sky turned on. That was weird.
Them are Northern Lights or whatever.
No, it was different. It was like all of a sudden someone turned on the sun full blast and then turned it off again. And we were back to the middle of the night. It was weird. Apparently he's had it happen before. He was walking to meet friends and it happened. And I guess it happened twice and his friends saw both. So he only caught the second one. But yeah, it was weird. It was nighttime. And then
So
all
was
of a
it like
sudden it
from
was
a-
bright daylight and then it
Is
was
it like
gone
from
again.
a satellite or something?
I don't know because it was the whole sky. And it wasn't long. Like it didn't last more than a couple of seconds.
We
It was
had
long
the-
enough to notice, but it wasn't not long enough to, start
We had
to look
the
at.
lunar
Was
eclipse.
there a sound?
We had the lunar
like a
eclipse here.
meteor strike?
Nope. No sound, nothing. And there was no weird like there was nothing happening in the solar system that would have caused it, Like there wasn't an eclipse or anything like that.
Before they had the lunar eclipse here, they were trying to sell everybody like special glasses, and we're like, we don't need that crap. We're staring up at it with our eyes. We're so dumb.
I'm scared of that. We always have bad weather when stuff like that happens. It's always overcast. But I read Stephen King's Dolores Claiborne when I was young.
Oh,
And well, I guess I wasn't that young. I wasn't allowed to read them until I was an adult. So I was 21 when I finally read it all. But it scared the piss out of me. What would happen if you don't wear your glasses? So that's always been a fear of mine.
I don't like Stephen King, but like the books are good and the movies are just funny.
See, yeah, yeah. I have to take the movies separate from the books because it's very rare that they're done well. Um, but I like most of his books. He lost me with the Gunslinger series. I loved that series, and he finally, years later, writes the final book in the series to close it out. And the finish he used was just, it was weak. There was no thought behind it. He basically started the story all over again. Like, you know, the shorts that you watch and it starts,
Right.
and then right at the end it loops right back to the start again. That's what he did with the book series. But
Shit.
yeah, there was so many books in the series, and it was so involved with so many different characters and types of beings, and then he just loops it. It was so weak.
My favorite's always been Maximum Overdrive, where at the beginning of the movie he's like, I'm gonna scare the pants off of you. And then it's like, where's the part where I'm getting scared? It's all AC/DC and trucks running people over.
Yeah.
We made you and all that. It was,
Yeah, it wasn't, and that's the thing. A lot of his movies you have to take differently. Hearts in Atlantis was a great movie. Had nothing, like, it was just barely covering what the book covered. Like, there was all sorts of stuff in the book that just got dropped from the movie. So
I get made fun of because I keep saying the scariest movie I ever saw was Neverending Story when I was younger. Like, your developing brain just can't process what you're looking at.
That's not the only reason we make fun of you, though. To be fair,
Uh-huh.
Never Ending Story. That's the stupid movie that made me not like sci-fi.
yeah,
That's the stupid movie.
I don't remember it.
The stupid ass
You don't
dog.
remember
The
Well,
stupid
no,
ass dog made me not like sci-fi for the rest of my life.
Falcor, the flying luck dragon? He looks like a dog.
Oh,
He
I
used to
love
eat children.
Falcor.
He used to eat children.
Okay, not the Never-Ending Story, Falcor.
The princess who lived in the ivory castle on a giant flying asteroid out in outer space. The sneezing turtle that would
Yeah.
like sneeze hurricanes.
Yeah.
The talking mountain. The racing snail.
The
Gamork.
wolf, the it.
Yeah.
What was it that they called the wolf thing?
Gamork.
Gamork. Okay, yeah. Boo. She's got a paper bag. It's a specific paper bag. The other ones aren't good enough, but this one bag, she loves, and she'll zip into it and flip around and sit back there, and that's exactly what she looks like, is Gamork. Yeah,
Oh my god.
it's really cool. Nothing but her eyes are glowing in the back of a paper bag.
Do you remember that movie Cat's Eye with the little troll that would like try to steal that girl's breath when she goes to sleep?
Vaguely. You got to remember. Well, I don't know. You may not know. I've got a bunch of health issues. That's why I don't work. That's why I have time to sit here all day. But one of the things that I get to deal with is early onset dementia. So my memory was never great, and it gets worse the older I get. The pot doesn't help, but
So you can become a U.S. president.
you know what? I can. Give me maybe a decade, and I'll be right where he was when he first ran for the third time. Give me a decade or so. It's slow, but it's going to hit me a lot sooner. So it's good and it's bad. I don't necessarily remember conversations, like things people ask me to do or things I say I'll do. I don't necessarily always remember. But on the flip side, I get to reread my books and rewatch my movies, and it's like I've never seen them before.
Sounds
So-
like a blessing because there's a lot of stuff I don't want to remember.
Well, you'd think so, but yeah, it's when you start forgetting about appointments or I don't know, the one that got me, the one that killed me that I still beat myself up about, one of my nephew's birthdays. It wasn't in my calendar. I had a screw up with my phone and my calendar totally erased itself. And
Oh my
I was
God.
late by a couple of days on his birthday, and he's still young enough that it cares. It matters.
How
So-
dare you?
Yeah. And it's like, I know it's really not that big a deal. And I did call him a couple days later and but that's one of those things that that's when I notice the memory issues. That's when it really bugs me. You know, it's
Your
those sort of
husband's going
things.
back to work. Have a good day at work.
Oh, okay. Thank you, hun. I'm still over in the other chat. You too. I'll see you when you get home.
Have fun. I'm going to work.
Yeah. You say the whole sky instantly went white. It was the weirdest thing.
Hmm.
Yeah. Oh, Shenny, listen for the ping. I know. I was kind of listening for a ping, but there wasn't one. So, or at least I didn't hear it.
I don't hear it either.
Oh, okay. Is that something I can turn on and off?
Most people, usually you can, and everybody else can hear it. I don't know if it's like a volume thing or
Oh.
if there's a way to actually turn the ping off or
Oh,
what.
well, because if there is, that's probably what I managed to do.
Yeah, usually even the guests can hear it, and I couldn't even hear it when Monty came
Okay.
in. So
Yeah. Okay. So I must have done something somewhere. Never Ending Story was great. I see. That's what I think. I really liked Never Ending Story.
Neverending Story is the first movie I ever saw as a kid that had actual boobs in it too. Well,
Oh.
not actual boobs; they were
But-
statues, but
Yeah.
still.
Weren't there any in Indiana Jones?
Indiana Jones.
I seem to. I don't know.
I don't remember.
Again, see, my memory is I don't know. And there's that's the fun part with history and talking about political topics and stuff. I know basic things, but names specifically are so hard for me. And like trying to talk about something in the Bible, for example, I know the story, but I cannot for the life of me remember which of the, major characters actually had it happen to them. So it's,
And then,
and
and then like current Hollywood like decimates these movies that came out.
Yeah.
You remember Terminator ended in Terminator 2, but now they got to come out with Terminator 3, Terminator 4, Terminator 5, and it's like this is
Well,
all
they did the
stupid.
same with Star Wars. The original 3
Right.
Star Wars are part of the reason, part of what made me a makeup artist, because I did special effects makeup. That was my goal. And I wanted to do the monsters and stuff, and it was because of things like the original Star Wars.
The end of Star Wars was where they all stood before the teddy bear people and had medals. That's the end of Star Wars.
And it was brilliant.
Really?
And then all of a sudden they start doing, all
They
these
they
sequels
defeated the Empire with sticks.
Well, and it worked.
With what? With what? Did they?
Sticks and logs.
Oh,
Sticks and-
that's not what I thought you said.
I know, right?
Oh,
Excuse
okay.
me.
You
Are you
boys.
beautiful?
Where
Oh,
are
scroll
you?
down, scroll down.
My favorite came in.
Shitty movie night, Never Ending Story. That rocks. Hi, Fiery.
I will
I
totally
should
watch
check and
Neverending
make
Story
sure.
again.
I would.
Hey, Fire
I might even
Fiery.
still own it somewhere.
Except the second one. Don't watch the second one. That one's stupid.
Oh, gee. Digger's makeup is amazing. You can't even tell she's an 83-year-old Asian man. I've seen that short that they've got an e-girl, an Asian e-girl who strips all her makeup off, and it's a he, and there was quite the uproar.
Sen
I thought that was
Chao.
hilarious.
Sen Chao. So bye day.
Hiya, Cheesy. York, Pennsylvania is as depressing as you remember it. See, I think in the grand scheme of our continent, I think the West Coast is just nicer in general. You guys on the East
Some
Coast
places.
is where all the industry happens, right? Whereas West Coast, we've got the orchards and the farms and the cattle, the wheats, so it's really, really nice over here.
Each end of our country, you'll find like all the good landmarks that are still there. But like in the middle of the country is where you'll find all the good people.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know if that works the same in Canada. I've never gone further than Saskatchewan myself. But yes, Bobby, industry, all of the smoke making and the pollution, the stuff that is now taxing every breath of air I breathe 3 times before I exhale it. It's that side of the country that did it for Canada anyway. I've been told. If you go over to if you come from our side, BC or Alberta or Saskatchewan, and you fly it to the east, say Toronto or Ottawa or Quebec even, although not so much, it is nothing but smog and roads, highways. And that's all it is. It's industry and smog and roads, and there's nothing else. But you come over here and there's nothing but wilderness. It's really nice.
I don't watch any hockey, but I remember when you were talking shit, and you're like, I was like, did you win? And I thought you were gonna kill me.
No, oh no, I see. That's the thing. My number one team is the Canucks, and they've never won. They're the epitome of the nearly theirs, because they get you so close to the win, and then they just flub it. And that's all they've ever done. They were one of the original hockey teams in the NHL, and they've never won the Stanley Cup. So I'm used to not winning. I was disappointed, but
did most of the Canadian teams have all like the Scandinavian players and the Russian players on them?
During the mid to late 90s, 2000s, yeah. That's when they started infiltrating.
What the fuck?
That's what happened to hockey too, is it got
I must
finessed.
have pushed it the wrong way.
They decided to finesse it instead of use the bruisers.
Are you being
European
electrocuted?
style hockey.
Yes,
It's
European
sucks.
hockey. Yeah. Pavel Bure and the Twins did it for us.
What's the difference between European hockey and like the North American
Blood.
hockey?
Blood and injuries. And mouth offs.
And teeth.
Yeah. Fights.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
actual hockey.
Real hockey. Yeah.
I think I saw a video where the referees were actually fighting with the players, like cussing them out and everything, and putting them into that penalty box or whatever.
Oh yeah. That's fairly common. I don't know. I don't know if I can do this. Let's see. I was named after a very famous hockey player, but there was also a female actress. I think it was in 2001 in Space Odyssey. Not certain, but I think that's who it was that I was named after, because I was supposed to be a boy. I had a boy's name and everything was great until I came out and I was a girl. So my dad ended up having to name me. And
Charlie.
he decided, no, Charlie'd be cool too. But this one here, are you seeing it? Yes, Lanny McDonald.
Lenny McDonald.
Yeah, and he is one of the best OG bruisers. He had a mouth that would not stop, but he would fight and just fight until the other guy was down. He wouldn't give up. He was lippy and he was big, and he would do whatever it took to win, even if it meant he spent a lot of time in the box.
Why do they spell maple leaves with an F and not like a VE?
Because it's not leaves, it's leaves.
Because they're Canadians. That's why there isn't
Yeah.
a cup in Canada in
Figures like-
31 years.
I'm going to leave this conversation.
Hey man, I'm gonna make it like a tree and leave is one of my favorite sayings.
31 years.
Do you spell color the right way? CO.
I
No.
spell it the right
you
way,
are.
and it's always trying to autocorrect. The same with neighbor and rumor.
Demon
Yes.
or Damon.
No, it's demon. I don't think I've
Matt
ever done Damon.
Damon.
Yeah.
Matt Damon.
Oh man. And yeah, Team America, one of the greatest movies ever. You guys came and took us on, but you blamed us for everything. But if you guys remember correctly, the reason you blamed us for everything was because we took out the Baldwins. So just remember, had we actually been allowed to take out the Baldwins like they did in the movie, none of this extra crap would have ever happened. So just saying, you know, Team America had it the right way.
I
So
like to send my
Canada didn't do their
supervisor
job?
that.
We didn't dare after the movie.
So
knew what
blame
you-
Canada
you
for
would do.
sure.
Mhm.
Them Canadians.
I like
Yeah,
to
either
send
way,
my
we'll take the
supervisor at
blame.
work that meme with Kim Jong Il. He's like, "Why is everybody so fucking stupid?" He laughs. He's like, "Yeah." He'll sum up that every time.
I
At
like
work.
the oh shoot, who was it? Kim Jong. Russia's calling Z and then or Chi or however you pronounce it, and then they get Kim Jong Un on the line as well, and they're all laughing about Biden. I don't even remember what the joke was, other than it was the three of them laughing, and they had Putin was the one that started the call. So
How do you think Putin is gonna? Okay, you said no political. I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, I want the question though. That's not fair.
I
She
don't
does
know.
that shit all the time.
We don't
Like,
have
this
to.
is- this is
We don't have
normal.
to answer it, but you can still finish your question.
Oh, shoot. Thanking you. Thanks, hon.
Come on
I
now.
there
Canadian
we go.
cheese.
I didn't even think of that. See,
Politics.
Canada is America. It is not,
No,
OG.
politics.
If it's
We're fully
America, then
different.
it's Canada, right?
Can-
America,
No, because
Canada.
the natives named us.
But it
They
should be
kept saying
Canada.
Canada.
Our country is the
Let's be real. If we wanted it bad enough, it would take probably an afternoon and about $6, and it would be ours. So
Now, probably.
Donald
Back in the
Trump's gonna
day,
take
no.
it. It's okay.
There's a reason y'all didn't take it back in the day. The Rockies, the mountains, they really are an issue. There's a reason it's the longest unprotected border. It's because no one can get the fuck through, right?
He's just gonna make it a purchase right along with Greenland. Why not?
I think honestly, if the shit hit the fan, I think, and Russia went after America for sure, they'd be coming in via Alaska and BC. I think honestly, and if China ever wanted to attack us, it would be through BC because they've already got most of the political, like the MPs and stuff from BC, are assets of the CCP. So it's.
Hey, well,
Allegedly, in my opinion, and la la la, but there's proof of it out there if you want to go look.
I've got dinner incoming, so I'm gonna say happy birthday and bow
Okay,
out.
thank you so
Miss
much.
Digger.
Thanks,
Happy
Bob.
birthday.
It's
What's
been a
for
long
dinner?
time since I seen you.
What's for dinner?
Salad.
Ooh.
Oh,
Oh, nice.
that's what
Eating
birds
healthy.
say.
Yeah. Well, happy birthday, all.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, so do I have to do anything or he'll? Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Focus.
Make like a leaf. that
Most
gets
of them
fucking-
will just go away themselves, fairly quick if they've been
Okay.
around. If they haven't been around, that's the funny ones because then you get like 30 seconds of silence from everybody as the person's just trying to figure out how to
trying to
leave
find the
room.
button.
Uh-huh.
I've been that person before. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I do know that.
How come you have
uh,
nobody reading your chats for you like Shinny used to have you read all her
Ah,
chats?
because this is my first solo stream and I meant to be doing it, and just by default there's no way I'm going to be able to read every single one. I'm catching up.
Digger for
There
20
should be
says
room for one
LOL.
more. There's probably gonna be room for two because I'm gonna probably take off here in a little bit.
Okay, well thank
I got
you.
I got some things to do myself. And
Yeah,
it's
no
that
worries.
time-
You've
It's
got-
that time of the day to actually kind of get that stuff done as well.
Exactly.
myself
Yeah. and Plus, you've
organized.
got you've got an empty house, so you've got to put your tall white socks and your boxers, and you got to go swinging around and singing into a hairbrush.
Who's
and stuff,
wearing
right?
what? Huh? What?
Oh my gosh,
That's weird.
Cool Frog! You should at least be old enough to recognize that. I was talking about
Tom
Tom
Cruise.
Cruise. Yes, thank you. Oh my goodness.
The what?
No, Tom Cruise.
Oh,
Yeah, and Cocktail.
Risky
when he was-
business.
Or Risky Business. Yeah,
No,
yeah.
For some reason, I was thinking Jim Carrey.
I don't know if he ever did that, but it'd be funny. Oh,
Yeah.
it's a North American continent, so it's America. Yeah, I don't know. I can't wait, honestly. Well, it's not that I'm excited and looking forward to it, but I am interested to see what happens when the new king goes and William is coronated. I am not certain if we're like if Canada's going to stick.
Because you Canadians still worry about who the king is. I forgot.
Well, we don't care. I think more the big thing was we didn't give flying fuck because we all loved the queen. You know,
Right.
she was always in my life, right? She was our queen, and she was a wonderful, lovable woman, even when she did awful things. You know, she was our queen. But no one gives a shit about Charlie here, and I don't think anyone gives a flying fuck about William.
I'm glad you cleared it up because when
I
you
mean-
said when the new king goes, I was thinking nuclear bombs for some
Oh
reason.
no, the new King Charles. I have trouble remembering that he's
okay.
a king, not a prince. So it's easier for me
I
to
mean, he
remember to
wasn't
say
even
the
a
new
prince,
king.
really, when you think about. I'm just kidding. I mean, really, when it comes to Count Chucky, really shouldn't have got. I don't like that he actually got into the position that he did in any way, shape, or form. I believe it should have just went to the next anyway.
Yeah,
You
if
should-
it
you
had
should-
gone
you
straight
shouldn't have went
from
to him.
her to William, I think it would have been taken more well received.
Right,
I think,
exactly.
yeah.
It would have very, very well, a lot more well received.
Yeah.
He was very well not received, so well not received to the point that anybody that did anything with him on YouTube got their stuff taken from them.
Mhm.
I know mine's totally taken from me or whatever. I'm like, really?
Yeah.
It took them like 5 months to do it, but they took it. Why? Because they know that it looked horrible.
Yeah.
The whole coronation was just the worst thing that ever happened. But yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, and that
whatever.
painting.
Mhm.
That painting didn't help.
No, I mean
That was awful.
the camouflage one where it looked like he had a floating head.
No, the red. The
Yeah, the
the
red.
red. Yeah, the one that
Yeah.
if you mirror it, there's the and flip it upside down, there's the devil's head.
Oh,
Or I think no, you just have to flip it upside down and you'll see the devil's face in it. And there's all sorts of horrendousness in that one painting.
I refuse to look into that man any further. I looked into him as far as I wanted to, and I started to, and then I was like, nope.
I
Nope.
don't
Nope.
like him, but he's very, very dangerous person.
Uh-huh.
His mother was most definitely a very dangerous person as well, but I liked her. And she didn't, she left us alone. So that was cool. To me,
But-
she really was grandma. She lasted longer in my life than either of my grandmas really did. So
Right. But
No.
true to form, who really does rule and run this world when it comes down to it, and who has so much significance over everybody that is put into these positions? And how is it that just so happened to or make it be that that this guy got married to the queen so that eventually he would be the king? I is just the oddest thing in the world. Just the oddest thing in the world. And like, how was she that oblivious to his ignorance, or was she okay with his tyranny? Because he came out of what, Transylvania, right?
yeah.
Uh-huh.
Oh.
Was she okay with his tyranny? Because apparently she was. If she was okay with his tyranny, and the way the UK had always been anyway, almost everywhere from Israel to South Africa to Australia or wherever else they've been,
Mhm.
India, whatever. I know the Dutch had a lot more significance in certain areas like India or whatever, but when it comes down to it, what in the world made her think, I should marry this man? He's going to be the king someday.
Well,
What in the fuck?
Well, a lot of those marriages, and this even applied in the United States through the 1800s, especially with our upper class,
Mhm.
was a wedding was the joining of one family wealth and
Right.
property to another family wealth and property in order to maintain their power.
Yeah,
So
yeah. It was yeah.
that's kind
There's a
of the
reason
same thing with everything.
the Habsburg chin is the thing. It's because they kept intermarrying. Their brains got more scrambled and their chins just got bigger and bigger. There was a couple of royalty from the Habsburgs who drooled like on the regular. They weren't necessarily mentally damaged, but their jaw was just so big. Sorry, that they drooled. So,
And they take it on the chin.
For quite a
Dan.
few centuries, they would do things like take a French princess and marry her to an English prince. And then hopefully at some point the prince would become king. And
Right.
then that's how they kept their tie to France.
right.
Digger, can
Mighty.
I send it to him?
I
Or?
was just going to say, can you send it to him, please? Because only way I've got is Twitter, which is only on the phone, and that's a whole nother thing I have to try and figure out.
And then
I sent it to him.
I'm going to sneak out of here.
You're gonna jump up?
Happy birthday. Happy
Thank
birthday. Happy
you.
birthday.
Thank you.
Everybody else, have a good one.
Have
talk
a
to you
good
soon.
one.
I'll talk
Take
to you
care,
soon.
Frog. Yeah, I sent it to him. I just wanted to make sure. I
Perfect.
thought it was fine, but
Yes,
thought I
definitely.
might ask.
I saw it and I'm like, oh yes, and then I froze because it's a third device. How do I do it now? AP saying she didn't get a choice in who she married. That is. Oh yeah. OG, you're not blocked. Shenny's just not chitty chatting as much as normal. AG says Francie Pants King. Yes. Well, that's that's kind of part of it.
I
Figured-
wish we could pick our own baby daddies.
Oh gosh, I remember that. That woman. It was memed so badly. Was that a like? I think it was a TikTok text thing, right? It wasn't actually a video of a woman saying that. It was her saying it in a chat or something.
I don't know.
Oh, I'm pretty sure that's what it. Oh, it was. Yeah, some people are so stupid. Actually, a buddy of mine, Captain Kern, I don't know if he's still here or not, but he's got a shirt that says, "Most of your moms should have swallowed," and that's yeah. That's the way I'm starting to feel about a lot of people these days. Is they really didn't need to be around. We're so safe, so protective of, Darwin doesn't get to take his award winners as much anymore, right? We coddle the ones who would be award winners, and it's really made for an interesting world. And I feel like I'm on a bit of a tangent, so I'm going to stop.
Just along for the ride.
Stoner. There we go. Hi, Dance. How you doing?
Hey, happy birthday, Digger.
Thank
Cheers.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. Yeah, I thought that was a good time to come in because you were starting to talk about my country and the Royals. Not
Yes.
that I know a whole lot about them, but I know I'm not very keen on Charles because of have you guys heard of Jimmy Savile?
Yes.
Yeah,
Mhm.
bad dude, and I think he was pretty pally friendly with Jimmy
They were
Savile and giving him
best
access
friends.
to.
Yeah.
Not great. Not,
He's
not a great.
also the one who has his photo with Jacob Rothschild poking him in the chest.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if that was a legit photo or sort of
Oh,
mashed together, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's legit.
I'm
to be honest,
yeah, I'm pretty sure it is legit. I've seen it at reputable sources. Let's say that. I've never thought that it wasn't legit before. So there you go.
Okay.
But yeah, these days you never know.
Igor, this
But-
is the perfect time to plug our. This is getting into Tuesday show territory. so
Oh,
you should check
holy
us out on
Hannah.
Tuesday, you know.
You mean
I think.
I've got to like plug stuff? I want
I
people
mean-
to come back.
I mean, it's usually a good idea.
Well,
Teaching
Can I
you the
ignore that
ropes.
Monday even exists?
Yes.
well, Monday doesn't exist. Yeah.
Good.
Why? What happens Monday?
We skip it and go straight to Tuesday, and then to your stream.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you can. There's a good segue.
All
Hang on,
right.
I can't get my fingers right. You're up there. No, you're there.
I can do
Mate,
the,
those
that's
two.
the easy one.
There you go.
Yeah, no, Mighty and I every Tuesday on Mighty's channel. It's 5:30 my time, which would make it 8:30 Eastern. We cover Bill Cooper, and we've decided to cover strictly the Mystery Babylon series. Next time it'll be the 20th episode that we're going to cover. So that'll be that'll be really cool. We've done 20 of these at this point. But
love
yeah,
it.
it's really cool because it covers the second oldest religion in the world. In my personal opinion, from everything that I've read, I believe that it started with Cain. Well, the devil, but then Cain. Pardon me. I believe that's how that went. So whereas we have God, and we've learned of him through, Adam, and then Abel died, and we had Seth. Oh, just a sec. Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
My
Hey,
favorite
guys,
pineapple.
hey, bud.
What is happening, y'all?
Hello. But yeah, I
Happy
think
birthday, Digger.
thank you.
I love
I
your
think that
sunglasses.
it's very interesting.
you.
Yeah,
and,
Tom Cruise just entered the stream.
Yes.
Yeah, and everybody kind of keeps telling me like I keep a particular like background on my top
I like
monitor.
the fire. Yeah, the flames looks great. Yeah.
So,
So,
but
yeah.
yeah, it's Mighty. Good to see you guys. It's been a
What's up,
while.
sir?
Hello.
Yeah, it's
Hey,
been a minute.
hey.
It's good to see you.
Oh,
Hey, Kaiser.
hi.
And Digger's just she's
bad.
shilling her
I'm
streams.
poorly. I am very
Oh,
poorly
yeah.
Trying to.
trying to shill
Bill
the
Cooper
stream.
And Dance is
Well-
so excited about it because
I
he's finally
know.
part of the discussion because
I know.
past his bedtime.
Yes.
So
Yeah, you get to watch it the next morning.
I thought the episode of the Freemasons y'all covered. I was so enthralled with that show that I almost starved myself.
Well, it's fascinating. I don't know, Kaiser, have you watched any of it?
I apologize. I have not. I mean, it's been
No
on my
worries.
backlog.
Boo.
No worries. Yeah. It's basically, in my opinion, it is the second religion. It is the religion of the devil, Lucifer, passed down to Cain and on through his family because he killed Abel. He got sent off with some of the sisters, and Adam and Eve had Seth, and that's where we all come down, allegedly. So in my opinion, the Mystery Babylon is the devil's religion.
What is the mark of Cain? Because some people claim to have it. Is that like a birthmark?
See, I know.
It's not really sort of stated, is it, Digger, in Genesis? It's just
No,
the
not
mark was
really.
put on him so that nobody would kill him. It doesn't really say what the mark was.
No,
It's
I
a bit
mean,
vague.
it did say it was on the forehead, wasn't it? Or did it?
I believe so. I'll look it up quickly on my other monitor.
Yeah.
I'll look it up.
And the best
Yeah.
part about Tuesday is I know nothing and ask a lot of, I think sometimes decent questions.
You're
So,
always asking good questions. You keep me on my toes. So,
Yeah.
it's really cool because I'm a beginner Christian too. So, I'm just learning these things as well. And in the questions that Mighty asks me, it gives me different perspectives on things. So I'm learning new things as well, even though he knows nothing about Christianity per se. He gets me thinking on different levels that help me to learn more. So,
Why does Digger always sit on the floor?
because
Hippie.
I
That's
have.
a conspiracy theory we were kicking around.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I have fibromyalgia is one of my lovely things, and I also have OCD. So once I lay out the couch, I don't like to sit on it because then it gets all wonky and I have to straighten it. And I can spend an hour perfecting the couch, which is also why I have layers of non-patterned blankets on top of the one with the stripes. So it's not as obvious and bothersome to me. But I sit on the floor because I am constantly moving. I cannot sit in the same way for very long. Everything hurts starting at my toes. My feet are the worst, followed by up here. But I did have a bulging disc in my low back, so that bugs me too.
Oof. Yeah,
So,
my wife
yeah.
has one of those. That's no fun.
So it's out of necessity. You've just got to keep moving.
Yeah. You'll see me on streams. I am always shifting position. So it's just.
I found the answer to your Cain question, by the way. It's Genesis 4:15. It just says, "And the Lord set a mark on Cain."
Okay.
Doesn't specify unless there's somewhere else in a different scripture that specifies. I don't think it says on his forehead.
I don't think
it would make sense because, like, if it's somewhere else, it could be like covered up.
Missed.
So
yeah.
it makes it more.
Yeah.
Whenever a mark by God is set on somebody, it's usually the forehead.
Yeah. So that's probably
you
an
could infer
assumption
maybe.
that I
People
made.
who claim to have the mark of Cain always say that they have extreme bad luck and misfortune in their lives. Yeah.
That's interesting. Because the people who follow Cain or follow the Mystery Babylon, in my opinion, are the ones that run this
Usually have
world.
success. Yeah.
They run the world, but we don't know their names because they're so powerful that they've got everyone else's pawns. The people that we know of, like world leaders and royalty and that sort of thing, they're being run by the people that follow the Mystery Babylon. In my opinion, just talking out my ass.
If I could maybe try and do a quick sum up for Kaiser, what it's basically about is about all these sort of various secret societies and how they all link back to Mystery Babylon, kind of a religion, one of the most ancient ones. So, like you say, you've got the sort of the way of God and Adam and his relationship and that kind of thing, and then you've got, like in Digger's opinion, like the devil's kind of his version of it, where he's the good guy. And that all these ancient religions sort of stem back to that, but they've carried on through all these different secret societies and how they're all sort of linked. And they're studying all of that through a guy called Bill Cooper who did a lot of research on it.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so stuff like the Masons and this, that, and the other, Knights Templar, all this kind of stuff through history. And how
Actually, my granddad was a Mason.
There you go.
Do you think the mark of Cain might be people who are ginger, actually?
I doubt it.
I don't think we're successful enough to be.
I was going to say, how's that recessive gene working out for you?
They say that though. They say that gingers are it's gonna die out because of the recessiveness of the gene and all that. But we're everywhere. There's loads of us.
Right?
I was going to say that when I
most
was
people's beards too. Sorry.
When I was little, everyone was blonde hair, blue eyed, right? Like the redheads with the green eyes or the blue eyes, the red hair was rare and it was dying out. That's what we were told. But I think there's been enough intermingling of different races because we're seeing, or at least I am personally seeing, I am seeing a lot more redheads, natural redheads these days.
Right.
A lot less natural blondes. And I think it's just a matter of the genetic pools have been mixing enough that there are different, pale white skin and pale blonde hair, blue eyes. That is kind of like, I don't know. It's like the far end of the spectrum, right? And then you've got the opposite, which is black as black can be, which is beautiful. Oh my gosh. I hunted for months to find a model who had that black skin, just so I could use her for a final exam. Oh, absolutely gorgeous.
No comment.
But that's an aside.
You just teetered so close to the edge of getting canceled with that entire speech.
Right.
And I
But they're
loved it.
beautiful.
It was great.
And we're beautiful on the, well, I say we, but I was always a strawberry blonde too. I burn and then I freckle. So
Is it true that Dalmatians are not born with their spots, that the spots develop as they get older?
I don't know.
I have no idea.
I think I'd heard that, but I've not looked it up. But for some reason, I've heard the same thing. I should Google it. I keep forgetting I've got the second monitor. I'm such a dumbass. I'll Google that real quick.
I'm glad somebody said it.
But no,
Hello?
it's the mixing of the breeding with others that all of a sudden, because of it, there are different dominant genetic factors that are being introduced. That it's an interesting fact. Caucasian person has a child with an Asian person is always going to have more Asian features than Caucasian.
So the Caucasian cocked the Asian. I'm sorry.
No, it would be the other way around. And it's interesting. Things that I have learned. Asian people, earwax is more flaky, whereas
Okay.
Caucasian, it's more of a waxy substance.
Huh.
You know, so
Interesting.
yeah, and we only know this because the different races are intermixing, right? So
Right.
we're
'cause they all-
finding all of a sudden that redheads are not going to become extinct. And in fact, as I said, blonde hair, blue eyes is becoming the rarity, at least in North America. So I don't know about.
There's a certain
Norway and
irony
whatnot.
in that when you think about certain people and their beliefs.
Well, it also, it kind of makes sense, though they didn't understand it. It kind of makes sense why some people wanted to keep the races pure and the white bloodline white, right? Because maybe they knew that we'd just be erased, So,
You
but
know, I
we're
got no
getting-
problem being a Heinz 57. I mean, a little bit of everything. It's all right.
well, exactly, and thank you to the mixing, we get such beautiful people. The black people with the beautiful blue eyes, those bright blue eyes. I don't know, something about
The
a
contrast.
person with black skin and blue eyes is just gorgeous to me. I
The
don't know if
spice-
it's a makeup
Spice
thing, but
melange.
the dude from Criminal Minds.
Oh.
I don't remember what his name was, but he was a beautiful specimen, and a lot of it had to do because he had like these greeny blue eyes. But like I said, I spent months and months looking for the right female model with that skin so black that it just disappears, because it is so beautiful. And I needed to have it in my final exam book, and it took me months to find her, but I found her, and it was phenomenal. The photography was just gorgeous. So yeah, I don't
Holy
know.
shit. I have so many jokes, but I'm gonna be good.
Yeah. Remember, this is Digger Stream. We don't want to get a
I
cancel
know.
out immediately.
You know what?
That's
No,
I'm gonna be
that's
eight.
the thing. That's the thing. It's a me stream, and I don't give a flying hoot. I don't give a flying fuck about monetization. I don't care if they decide to shut me down for an ever and ever. Amen. I've always been a guest more than a streamer, anyways. So say what you will. I'm saying what I believe. I think it's awesome.
Okay, so just one. Did you find her when you finally turned the light on, or
Yeah.
I'm
Well, now. Speaking of Gamork,
I swear that's
wow.
what Beaker looks like. Oh, she sits
Yeah,
in
by the way,
that
I've-
paper bag.
I found out the Dalmatians thing. I put it in the private chat there from Google.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, apparently it can be visible on their skin from birth, but usually takes about 10 days for their spots to appear. But I'd much prefer what somebody put in the chat. They said, where is it now? The Dalmatians, they come to you in a kit and you just powder coat the spots on.
I love it.
some people are
But
born
yeah,
with
our
red
skin
hair
just-
and it just gets darker as they age. That was
Yeah.
like making the comparison.
Well, and if you
Yeah,
see
like-
me when I was a child, I had true strawberry blonde hair. It was a beautiful strawberry blonde, and then it just kept being more blonde, and then a little bit dirtier blonde, and then I started dyeing it because I wanted to be a redhead. So my favorite character as a child was a redhead with green eyes, and that's all I ever wanted to be. At the
Like-
time, I was a blonde hair with blue eyes, and everyone wanted that, but I never did.
Like
Hi,
Kaiser's
Heather.
Kaiser's goatee over there. It's like
It's starting to.
blonde in
Starting
the
to go
middle.
away.
Yeah.
Well, that gives you definition.
How do they
Yeah.
do that?
Yeah, I'm starting to go. It's part of the reason why I'm wearing the hat. I'm like starting to really gray out.
Whoa. But you're a dirty blonde to start with, though, so it won't
Yeah.
be as obvious at
Right.
first, anyway. Yeah.
I'll tell you one place where gingers really are getting killed off. Disney movies. They really don't like us anymore. We used to be in all sorts of them.
I know.
Yeah.
Just phasing us out.
That doesn't sound very brave.
It's like the black guy in
Well,
the
Oh,
70s,
well, to be
80s
fair, Brave,
movies.
yeah, to be fair, yeah. they had to
Nice.
kind of do that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, you couldn't not have a redhead in that case.
I mean,
well, they're so preoccupied with making sure they don't play to stereotypes. I'm like, wait a minute. So you guys decided to do a redhead with a strong Scottish accent in a movie set in Scotland? Well, we kind of had to. No, racist.
Where is the black woman?
Ariel the
I-
mermaid was a ginger.
Yeah,
the first
Ariel
movie.
was
Yeah.
not the white woman that she had started out as. Yeah.
Right.
I don't
Oh,
think
that was a
anyone
fun
actually
debacle.
knows what Jesus looks like. I think that was kind of part of it.
The way I figure, I'll figure it out one of these days, but I'm not going to be here to tell you all about it.
Exactly. And
I'll
I don't
figure that
think
out
it
one of these
really
days.
matters whether he had blonde hair or brown hair or black skin or white skin or, it's interesting depending on which area you're in. Asians have an Asian version. Black people have a black version. We have our white version. It's we're trying to
think
make
the
him look like
message-
familiar to us, to what
Yeah.
we see, right? And
I
it's
think the message is more important than the vision,
which is why they never described him and why he was so easily able to just disappear in a crowd, because he's so not.
I don't know.
know,
I
he
think
doesn't-
the disappearance in the crowd thing was more.
Well, that,
supernatural. They were all
that
trying
may
to grab him to
have-
stone him at one point when he said before Abraham was I am, which was
But he
basically
had
him saying I'm God, and then he had to
he
disappear.
had to put aside his deity to become a human, because he had to live the sin-free life as a man. So he had to put his deity aside.
I get that,
So I
but when he
don't know
walked
that
on
he
water,
had-
he was kind of still
Well, that's
using
true.
the power of God
That's true.
I'm trying to think of I'm trying to
So
think
how did
of
he-
how many ginger characters that DreamWorks came up with, and all I'm coming up with is Syndrome.
Syndrome.
Yeah, the bad guy from
Sonic.
Oh yeah,
Sonic, yeah.
Yeah.
God, now it just like completely left my mind.
Just a
It
second
was
here. That's
like,
a good
in-
question for me
in
to ask my
Incredibles or
study
something
people.
like that. Or, yeah.
The Incredibles, yeah.
Oh,
No, that guy was like super ginger.
Yeah. My kid is 3. That's my only excuse.
Yeah,
lot of
my
Disney
folks
movies.
blamed us.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'll let it go. Let it go.
Oh my god. I will never forgive the daycare for playing Frozen at my kid's daycare, because like for the longest time that's all he wanted to watch. I'm like, dude, first of all, you have a Y chromosome. Shut that shit down. Second of all, there are like literally tons of other Disney movies. We do not have to watch Frozen every other
Every
fucking
time.
night.
Yeah. Well, and Frozen was great, but it was also very girl power, right?
Mhm.
The men in that movie were really kind of weak.
Well, yeah, there's
It's
no
not-
agency whatsoever. Totally limp wristed, and
Yeah.
the one
That's-
like the biggest antagonist of the movie is the guy who's just like, oh, I'm going to kind of say that we got married so I can steal your land, I can steal all of your stuff because I'm 13th in line for my fucking like bunch of kids, so I'm not gonna really do anything. So this is my only way to actually like make something of myself. So it was just a greed and power play. I'm like, yeah, this guy is like about as threatening as a ham sandwich. I mean,
If there's any
Yeah.
streamers on YouTube that you do not like, send them super chats with Disney lyrics from any Disney movie. And if they sing those Disney lyrics, you got them.
clip it.
Interesting.
Boom, demonetized.
Really? I thought
Right,
the audio would
yeah.
have to match. Is it like
Dude.
if you just do the lyrics? Is it that
I did
bad?
it all the time. I did it all the time. The streamers I didn't like, I would just send them like a super chat that said like Lion King lyrics or something, and they would sing them on the stream and then get struck.
Oh, that's
Note to
devious.
self.
I like that. That's I watch a Canadian chick, Charlotte Dobre. She's fun. She's the person I imagined I could be, but I never did. I decided to do drugs instead. I don't know, but she's funny and she reacts, and that's exactly what she does. She's very her tagline is petty, right? Let's be petty, or something along those lines. And moving in the shadows is her latest one. So it's very funny. She's got people who write into her Reddit now. She's got a brand new Reddit, so they write in their own "Am I the assholes?" or awful wedding stories, or whatever it is. And it's just brilliant. It's so brilliant because people are trying to out petty each other in the comments, and then she gets to go and pick from those. So the stories that she's getting sent now are really awesome. They're really good, and I get to live vicariously through her because I don't get to be petty. There are a couple of people every now and again that I'm like, but I guess that's part of the thing with living online is people are removed. It's different when you're in the same room, I guess,
Right.
It's a lot easier to ignore the annoying ones if they're online. So
Well, Digger, happy birthday. I got to get started on my lasagna.
Okay.
Or else it's never going to happen.
Thank you for coming.
Good luck on that lasagna.
Enjoy.
Yep. So it's lasagna Monday. So.
Oh, nice. That's my
There you
favorite
go.
meal.
Garfield.
I've got a Garfield recipe. I got it in preschool.
My.
All
right. Have a good day, y'all.
Thank you.
Yeah, nice to meet you, Akron.
Hi, Akrons.
Bye-bye.
She secretly is. Okay.
Oh, mine.
I was just going to say, Kaiser, you know how you were saying about, was it an excuse to watch these movies or whatever? But you've also got the excuse of like your channel does reviews of stuff, so you know what I mean.
Yeah,
you kind of get what you want.
I know
What you want.
We're giving them
there's
an out.
like there's like so many movies that people are like, hey, do a review of this, and I'm like, oh, please, for the love of God, I don't want to. I sat through the entirety of The Acolyte. Please, no.
Oh, yeah.
There is a reason why I've literally the day after the Acolyte review, I posted a like long video saying I'm done. I will not do this again. It's like I will not abuse myself for the enjoyment of others unless I'm getting paid for it.
All I saw on Twitter and stuff was just all negative, so I was thinking, why would I even bother trying to watch that?
Oh, dude.
Exactly.
I find watch stuff anyway, but if I did, I wouldn't choose that.
Yeah, and I love the fact that you have like all of the top, like the top 1% of all the YouTube pop culture creators like Nerdrotic and Critical Drinker and all these other guys, like the top 1% of guys, and then you go down to the bottom like 99% like me, and you're like, yeah, we're all saying the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, yeah, okay, we don't give a shit about all of about anybody's skin color or any of that other stuff. You're trying to paint us as all these ists and phobes and this and that and whatever.
Yeah.
We don't care about that. We're literally telling you the writing and the directing and all of that is shit. That's our problem with it. And then you literally have entire sections, like characters from like stuff that's in the prequels that are in this, in some cases 40 years before they're even born. And then Wikipedia goes and stealth edits the birth dates for all these characters to make them older so that they can appear in this thing. It's like, wait a minute. You have guys going out there and stealth editing things to try and make it so it's, we meant this all along, instead of like, no, you admitted before you actually got into the production of this program, of this whole thing, that you literally hired people who had never seen Star Wars before to write your Star Wars show.
Wow.
That reminds me of, that's kind of like the the definition of vaccine getting changed in the middle of a certain year. But I'll not say anything more about that. But
No, it's interesting how the definitions of things change so quickly. And
Yep.
yeah, movies are the same way. They insist on remaking instead of
Right?
doing
Yeah.
something. Just do something different. Just like with the original, the last Star Wars movie I watched was the Jar Jar one.
Yeah.
After that, I was
yeah.
like, you know what? Fuck this shit. I'm out. And I haven't watched anything Star Wars past Jar Jar. So I have no idea. But it's even that, just rewriting lore that is older than I am.
Oh, yeah.
It's frustrating. Because
And-
I
and
know
speak-
these things, and now you're telling me different. And it's
Right.
very much like the definition of vaccine. I grew up, I know what the definition is, and now all of a sudden people are telling me that it's not that, and that I'm wrong.
Right.
Like, how does that?
Well, that's
How
why I
does
took
that work?
photographs of my actual physical dictionary from the 90s or whatever it was from, and then put the piece the bits together, because one word led you to the next word. I think the vaccine led you to inoculate, and then that led you to immunize, and then that's where you get the crux of it.
Ah.
It was like, and then what the actual definition was, the jabs obviously don't do. Like,
Yes.
it's never been one.
Exactly.
So I've made my own sort of image from that, from photographing my physical dictionary. You know.
Okay,
of
I've got a
all shit.
physical dictionary that's probably early 80s. Probably it's big, it's leather.
Yeah. So that one will be correct,
nice.
because I'm from the
Yes.
80s, so that's the correct one.
Yeah, 79. I know I can trust that stuff. And that being said, can you imagine the all the wrong stuff that we were taught that we didn't
Oh my
realize was wrong? Like, I grew up in the area of reduce, reuse, recycle, because the rainforest is burning and acid rain is going to hit Seattle and Vancouver, and we're going to be toast. So living in Vancouver as a kid, that's scary AF. But years later, I find out I lived in a rainforest. The Lower Mainland is rainforest, and it's not, the damage that they're saying is happening to the rainforest is so scary, and yet we've got our rainforest here, and it's okay. Like,
Right.
how is
There's a case to be made that there is a worse environmental disaster brewing right now in the Amazon rainforest because of Pablo Escobar's cocaine hippos.
yes, that and the
Oh,
sugar
I heard
cane.
about those hippos. Like he had a load of hippos, and then somebody released them or something, and then
Yeah, he
His-
bought 4 hippos, and then 3 females, 1 male, and then they ended up, when he got caught and they took all of his animals that he had bought away, they were like, okay, well, how do we get rid of these hippos? They're like, we just can't move the hippos, because hippos are 4,000 pounds of muscle and bad attitude.
Yeah.
It's like, you can move an elephant, you can move just about any other large mammal, but hippos, no freaking way. And it's like they were like, okay, well, we'll just leave them here, and they bred continuously to the point where they broke out of their enclosure. There's 173 of them now.
Yeah.
And the problem is their poop is toxic, which is poisoning the water, killing the fish, killing off the birds, and it's causing a major environmental disaster in the Amazon rainforest. And because of a stupid bunch of environmentalists here in the United States, they actually did a legal case to try and, against the government. I think was it Colombia, El Salvador, something like that,
One of
wherever
them,
he was
yeah.
at, they against the government down there, and they won. The environmentalists won, and because of the stupid judge in this case, he accidentally made a comment in the actual minutes of the granting the hippos personhood by accident. So now the government can't remove them because
It's murder.
they are persons,
It's people.
and it would be murder, and it would be against the United States, because we're the ones who granted them personhood. So they would be technically declaring war against the United States by trying to remove these hippos.
Yeah.
And it's been in a stalemate since 2020, and nobody knows what the frick to do. Which I'm
Meanwhile,
like,
they're
okay.
replicating.
Yeah, they're still breeding out. And I'm sitting here like, can we just gather them all in one place? One tactical nuke. That's all we need. And then problem solved.
Do you know what? I bet they vote.
I bet the hippos would vote Democrat.
I'm sure they
100%.
would.
Oh,
no.
Lord.
No, we're not talking about them, Chiefs. We're talking about the cocaine hippos.
Yeah, the
This
cocaine
guy.
hippos in South America.
Yes.
Forget
Yeah.
cocaine bear. Cocaine hippo is way scarier.
Yeah.
Maybe that could be a movie. That could be a movie. Cocaine hippo.
Forget Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. We've got the cocaine bears or cocaine hippos. Holy. I like that idea though. G is saying gather the cocaine hippos and put them on the border. Let them protect the border for a bit.
Yeah, just line the Rio Grande River with a whole bunch of those cocaine hippos and let them go to
Exactly.
town. There would not be a migrant crisis tomorrow. They'd be like, no,
Nope.
man, not want that. Nope.
Aren't they
Hippo
statistically?
It's a hippo cost.
Aren't they statistically one of the most dangerous animals or something?
Yes.
Yeah.
They are actually responsible for more deaths than sharks, crocodiles, and like several other major predators combined.
Yeah.
Because they're 4,000 pounds. And the thing is, people think, oh, they're hippos. They go in the water. Oh, they can just swim. No, they don't swim. They're so dense from muscle and bone that they sink to the bottom and they run along the bottom of the whatever body of water it is. And when they need to take a breath, they just jump up, take a breath, and then go back down. And there are no natural predators, even in Africa, that can kill a hippo. The thing is, with hippos, their only natural, like, if you could call it anything, natural enemy is the dry season, in which case a lot of them just dry out and die from dehydration.
Mm-hmm.
That's their only natural way of keeping their population in check is the dry season.
Which doesn't really happen in a rainforest. So
No.
cocaine hippos are okay. That being said, though, Vancouver has meth addicted coyotes, and they are attacking people.
That is
So,
awesome.
Yeah.
Is
That
it
sure
anything
it
wasn't
like
just
the
Kamala
meth
Harris
gators
and-
in Florida?
I think it might be.
You sure it wasn't just
Okay,
Kamala
sure.
Harris and people were mistaking it for hyenas? Because they got
Oh,
the same laugh
maybe.
in there.
Maybe. No,
So,
it's
that-
pretty funny.
Well,
that-
they
that
said
Sharknado. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Sorry, Mikey. I just talked right over you, mate. Go ahead.
I said when you said dense African hippos, I thought you were talking about Lizzo, and I had jokes, but we'll pass.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Oh man.
Oh,
Yeah, hippos are very, very fast on land. It's surprising considering just how large they are.
they top out at about 20 miles an hour, which is insane to think about for such a big animal.
Yeah. I would not want to be in front of one of those.
No.
See, I'm okay. I actually had I honestly don't know what type of bear it was because I was always in my tent. But I had a little island in the middle of the Coquitlam River growing up. And as in my late teens and 20s, when I needed to get away, I would solo camp on this little island. And the coyotes would go through on the trail. And then just at dusk, I had to make sure that the fire was out and the food was up. And I was in the tent because there was a bear that would come and walk around my tent and snuffle and check it out and then walk on and go wherever it went every night. I have no idea what kind it was, but I had no problems with that. I am totally cool with that. On the other hand, the idea of an alligator or crocodile, I'm swimming in the lake and all of a sudden, and you're
So,
Like,
so what you're
that's-
saying, what you're saying is that if you were encountered a bear or a man in the woods, you'd take the bear.
I'll take the bear. And Bobby, if you're around, you can clip that. Oh man. Yeah. We I don't know. I was hiking with my now ex-husband. Gosh, it's been so long. We weren't married all that long. but I took him hiking just before we actually got married, and we were hiking in the bush, and he was in front of me, and we turned the corner, and he stopped dead. I ran into it and stepped back, and he's backing up really quickly. I'm like, well, what's wrong? What's wrong? And he just points, and he's scared, so scared, and he points. And so I kind of look around him and around the corner, and there's 2 huge black bears getting it on in the middle of the trail. The only reason they didn't see us was because they were busy, getting busy. So we had to turn around and go back the way we came, but the bridge was out. So that theoretically was the only way we could go. We ended up having to turn around, go back, and climbing down the gorge and up the other side where the bridge should be. We had to climb down and back up to get away because they were in the way. So what are you gonna do, right? But he never went hiking again. I don't know why.
Well, I mean, sometimes you come across a bear in the woods, and well, it's just not a good time. And say
Hey.
whether you're talking about the furry four-legged kind or the large
Oh,
two-footed kind.
The 2-footed kind.
You come across 2 bears getting it on in the woods. Okay, I don't know what y'all were doing out there, but all right. More
Yeah.
power to you.
Yeah, no, I'm okay. I'm okay with bears. I'm cool with that. They come into town regularly, so always. I grew up on the foot of the mountain on the coast, so they were they were walking down the street, no big deal. But the same even here. As soon as we get just outside of town, they're everywhere.
Oh yeah,
So
I bet.
it's common. But
It makes me think of that video. I'm sure I saw a video where a bear walks into like a gas station shop or something and just picks up some
that
snack and walks
happens
out.
regular.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I was in there, I'd just be like, yeah, take what you want.
Mhm.
It's fine. Just yep.
Yep. Got to
I'm not
kind
messing with a bear. You can take whatever snack you want, fella.
of. Well, and that's the thing. Like they don't phase me. I'm okay with them. I'm not going to get freaked out. But you think about something else like an alligator. Like I said, those things are scary. I love swimming, and I prefer freshwater. And I can't imagine swimming out into the deep, and then all of a sudden, there's this prehistoric being that is chomping on me and pulling me down. That's a nightmare territory for me. Bears
Yeah,
are
it's like-
easy.
Like one of my friends, I was usher at his wedding. I've known him for years. His wife is from Brazil, and his sister-in-law, she actually lost a leg to, yeah, I don't know if it's crocodile or alligator.
Wow.
I never
Wow.
remember the difference, but one of them, yeah. He showed me like the local news like report thing, like telly thing of it and
Oh
stuff.
wow.
And it's like, wow,
Wow.
yeah. She was lucky that she got away with just, yeah. Well, I say lucky, it's not lucky. She lost a leg, poor woman, but she's okay. She's alive. That's the main
Yeah.
thing. But yeah, oof, that would be.
Yeah.
That's not what you want when you're in the water.
No,
No.
definitely not.
Oh. Well, we've got Okanagan Lake here in BC. We've got our own Loch Ness. His name is Ogopogo.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but I've seen Ogopogo. My oldest cousin and I were swimming in Cal Lake, and we had swum out to the floating dock in the middle of the lake, and I swear that both of us, we saw him just, all the bumps, like he must be a serpentine, just the way.
Was this when you were on all those drugs you were talking about?
No, this is when I was a child.
kidding.
This is long
I'm just-
before the drugs. Although the drugs might have been informed by my experience of Ogopogo, because from my understanding, he looks an awful lot like one of those Chinese dragons. So, yeah. But yeah. So ever since seeing it, I don't have a problem. No, Ogopogo, not Oingo Boingo.
It was just Mighty Meat. He was just swimming in the water there.
Yeah.
His
Just took a
thing
dip.
just snaking around.
Allegedly.
But theoretically, as the story goes, it could potentially have tunnels deep in the lake that take him out to the ocean. So that's
It's
the
interesting.
theory, anyway.
You got like your own kind of Loch Ness going on.
Yeah,
That's good.
yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, he was made into a cartoon figure by the time I was little. So, he was sort of thing you could, in the old days, you go to the mall and you put a quarter in the machine and you can ride the horse or the whatever. Well, you could ride Ogopogo at the local mall. You know?
Is it the typical plesiosaur version, or
Yeah. Just basically it's just like a long snake-ish sort of thing. Yeah. But
I'm sure Bill Cooper would find some kind of symbology there.
oh, I'm sure most things that were long and connular tended to be definitely phallic in nature. Everything it had a very, like, I don't
Oh yeah,
I
he
love
said he pronounces a word really weird, wasn't he, about the obelisks, and he goes obelisk or something. He
there's
says it strange to me.
it's so weird. It is.
But then I'm thinking maybe I'm saying it wrong. I don't know.
I know I can't remember what the word is or how he says it,
Obelisk.
but I know
Well,
what
I would
you
say
mean.
obelisk, and he was like obelisk or something like that. Yeah. I just picked up on it, and I was like, that's a strange way of saying it, but yeah.
Yeah,
My
there's like
memory
3 or
is
4 words.
grand, but yeah, there's one word that I know just tweaks me every single time he says it. It's like, no, that's so not right. That's so not right. That's my own
Like,
sneaky
we're
opinion.
human,
Americans.
Like we mispronounce like one word or something like that, and then suddenly like our credibility just goes out the window.
Mm. No, I love Bill Cooper. My man turned me on to him, and he's got a lot of really great information. And he, like Waco and like Ruby Ridge, he was murdered by your government because of things he knew. So, he called 9/11 before it happened, not Alex Jones, who likes to claim that now. He really likes to claim that, but it wasn't. We showed the episode. He claimed it 3 months before it happened. He even told us who was going to be blamed. And so he's got a lot of really great information. That being said, I don't believe everything he has to say. I'm not, swallowing everything and just bowing down to his knowledge. But things like the Mystery Babylon series are fascinating because it makes so much sense. And it connects things that I, as a history buff, have long suspected or connected in some way. I just couldn't figure out what it was. This is the most plausible explanation of what it is that I have found. So it's pretty amazing.
And when you said you don't take everything he says as like full on gospel and swallow it all, he would tell you there's the same. He says on his broadcast, don't believe what I'm saying, do your own research. I like that. I always like when people do that. Same with the churches. There's some preachers where they'll say the same. Just because I'm telling you, don't believe me, go and look it up in the Bible, see if what I'm saying it lines up. If you like the Bereans, and he's sort of saying the same thing with his broadcasts. I've heard him say it a few times. Don't just believe me just because I'm telling you. Go and
do your own research. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, and he's a proponent of making sure you've got your pen and paper ready so you can take notes so that you can do your own research later. He gives all his we just about to hit episode 20, so episode 19 or was it 18 we skipped because it was a bibliography, and it's basically
just a list of resources, wasn't it?
All the resources. So anyone who really wants to go and see it now, they can. Otherwise, we can cover it at the end. But he was the person who coined the "do your own research" line, and I appreciate that about him. That's why I consider myself a Seventh-day Adventist, is because they're the only ones who purport to, do your own research. Don't take what we're telling you. You go read the Bible, you study it, and you decide if you agree. And everything that I have read from the Bible so far, my understanding fits with them. They've got a prophet, Ellen G. White. People will, some people say she's a plagiarist. Some people say she's a prophet, this, that, and the other thing. I have not read her works, so I don't, I can't speak either way. on her, but putting her aside, they still seem to be most closely following a Bible.
Yeah.
Someone asked me, I think it was Dorothy. Yeah, it was Darth. Darth Hideous asked me what the difference was between an SDA and a Messianic Jew was, which was mind blowing to me because I didn't know there was such a thing as a Messianic Jew. I had no idea that there was Jews who believed in Christ. That's just. So I haven't been able to do enough research to be able to answer him, but just knowing that really, really blew my mind. Another thing, there was Seventh-day Baptists before Seventh-day Adventists existed. A lot of Presbyterian religions started out with the seventh day Sabbath, seventh day being Saturday. They started out with that. That was one of the big arguments that caused them to come to the New World. All these Protestant people were leaving to practice their religion. Well, the seventh day Sabbath being on Saturday was one of the big issues. So yeah, a lot of things I'm learning that just blow my mind. Someone explained it in such a way, when the judgment is happening, my understanding was Jesus was the defense, Lucifer was the prosecution, and God was the judge. But it's been explained to me, I'm starting to see that God is just as much on trial as we are, because he's the one that said, this is my plan, this is how it'll go, trust me, believe me. And this is the time when the ancients, the elders, are sitting there and watching to see if the plan does work the way he says it does. This is him on trial as well. And that blew my brain. Like, I can't imagine beings judging God, but in a way it is true, because at the end of all this, the second coming, if it doesn't happen, or if it happens but not the way that it's been foretold, and Lucifer wins, God is defeated, he's been lying to us all this whole time, and that's the end, right? So I never thought of it as him being judged himself as well. I didn't even fathom the idea that people would think that he may fail. But Lucifer did enough of a job that the elders are there judging him as well as us. And I think it's kind of phenomenal.
Just something you said there, which I picked up on, which I thought was interesting, because you gave the analogy like a court analogy initially, like God is judge and the devil's like the prosecution.
Yeah.
And in the Bible, his name is the accuser, isn't he? He's the accuser of the brethren, so he's the adversary. And so, but the way I saw it was like, if that was the case, God is judge, Satan's our accuser, and what he's saying against us is true. We are sinners. He can point to stuff we've done and got no defense. But then our defense lawyer would be Jesus, saying, "Yeah, I paid for that. I paid the price.
I covered it." Yeah.
So yeah, like say if the fine is you pay
bail's
this
been
fine,
covered.
but I can't pay the fine. I don't have the money. But Jesus comes along and goes, "I'll pay it.
Yeah.
I paid it. It's relevant now." Yeah. He said to me, "He did it, guilty, but I paid the fine." So you got nothing on him.
So
that was kind of my take on it. But something else that was interesting as well, like that whole thing about, because I used to struggle with thinking, like when I'd looked at stuff like Revelation and stuff, I think, why on earth would the devil try and carry on with this when he knows he's defeated? And it was actually from a movie, something tweaked my intrigue. It was the Keanu Reeves one, Devil's Advocate. It's Keanu Reeves and Al Pacino. Al Pacino playing the devil. And the bit where he's Keanu Reeves challenges him with that and saying, but it's in the Bible, it says you lose. And he says, yeah, but look who wrote the book. He's like, and I thought, I never thought about that, because in Satan's mind, he thinks there'll be a different ending. He thinks, okay, you've written that, but that's not what's going to happen. He's obviously of that mindset that he would carry on thinking that he can win.
Yeah, he really does. I mean, he got a third of the angels, so that's pretty good for a first foray.
There's one thing that we slightly disagree on the timing of that, because the Revelation 12, I think, is a future thing.
Yes.
But because with about the third of the angels at that point being thrown to the earth, because that's also when Satan is thrown to the earth, and that's not happened yet he's still able to go to God's throne room and accuse us, because like in the Book of Job and stuff. So it's not.
See,
He's not bound. So we have a disagreement on that.
I'm
statement,
no
but
no
that
no.
would be a whole different philosophical
That's something that
discussion.
has confused me too. I don't understand. But then I've been told that Job happened before Exodus. That Job actually happened soon after Genesis.
It's one of the oldest ones, I think.
before
Job. Yeah, I think.
Exodus. Yeah, Exodus.
Yeah, it's
So
a long time.
I've been told
Long time ago.
that's why Devil could still, but it doesn't make sense because he had to have been booted down to earth before Adam and Eve were in, like after the earth was made, but before humanity, or shortly after Adam and Eve were made.
Yeah,
Because
there's a gap theory,
he's
isn't
able
there,
to
in
get
Genesis?
yeah he's
There's
able
where
to
there's
get
something
to
happening, yeah.
Eden. He's able to get from earth to Eden to do this whole thing, right? So how is he able to get to Eden if he's already been busted down to the earth with a third of the angels?
Yeah, and that's where I
That
think the
bothers
Revelation
me.
12 bit is a future thing. I think Revelation 12 isn't something that's happened already.
So you don't necessarily think that he and the angels have been sent down to earth this whole time?
No, well, Satan
Or-
himself can do stuff on the earth. The Bible's quite clear about that. He says he roams
Okay.
around like a lion on the earth, looking to see who
Yeah.
he can devour. But he can also go to God's throne room, like the third heaven, and like accuse us to God directly.
Okay.
He's still got access to that at this stage. It's only later in Revelation when there's all sorts of stuff going on where he's cast to the earth. Because if you carry on reading it as well, it says that the people in heaven are rejoicing. It says because he says the accuser who'd accuse us day and night of the brethren is thrown down to the earth, and he has great wrath because he knows his time is short, and then he can't. At that point, he can no longer go into God's presence to accuse
Right.
anymore. That's when there's going to be all sorts of weird stuff going on the earth in the last days. That's in my
Yeah.
opinion. Like again, it's interpretations of Revelation. I could be wrong, but
Right.
You know, that makes a little more sense because like I said, I've always been confused about how, if he and the third of the angels were sent down to earth, how does he manage to go back and forth for Job? That always bothered me. How is he able to go and just wander through the garden and discuss Job with God, and unless he was able to go back and forth? So
yeah, I mean,
that's interesting.
study it,
I will
look-
continue
think
to
about
look
it,
into it.
pray
Yeah.
about it, study
Yeah.
it. But if you think of like Revelation 12 as maybe not necessarily something that's happened in more of a future event, it might make more sense.
Mhm.
But
Okay.
again, as always, I could be wrong, but that's just the way I sort of interpret it.
Yeah.
Currently.
No, that makes more sense to me than what I've been told so far. So yeah, I'll put that into my head for the research. I'll
you
keep
go.
it in mind. There you go.
Yeah, and if anybody in the chat doesn't like the way this is going, I just hope I'm
Yeah.
not derailing too much. I know you're into this
Oh.
stuff too, Digger. So it's your stream, it's your birthday, so as long I hope you're okay with these kind of subjects.
I'm loving this. Yeah, I don't know if someone's got a different thing to say, fair enough, but it looks like 351. Yeah, people are still talking, and we've got, does that verse not prove that God is not omnipotent, says JK. Which verse exactly? JK.
Job.
Job 1:6-7.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, just
I
because
don't know.
the
That's
bit
part
where
of
he
my-
asks him, "Where have you been?" Like as if he doesn't know. But sometimes he asks things he knows anyway.
Yeah, he's good at asking questions. He's very much like
Like
a
Adam
parent.
and Eve. Like when Adam and Eve, yeah, it says,
Yeah.
"Where,
Where
have
are you,
been?
Adam?"
Where are you?" Yeah, he knows exactly where
He
he is.
knows where he is. Yeah, it's like the parent who's asking the toddler, "What happened to the cookies?" And the toddler's go, "I don't know," but they've got
Yeah,
chocolate
it's all over their
their
mouth.
face.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, exactly right. Yeah.
The fuck you talking about? Biden is the best president we ever done saw. Totally right.
I'll tell you what, like literally within minutes of the announcement, the memes were hilarious.
Oh, I know the memes
Yeah.
are everywhere.
Oh yeah.
love it.
Yeah.
One of the first ones I saw was, the meme of Indiana Jones where he's trying to swap out the
Yeah.
little
Yes.
the bag of sand with the thing, and it was the head of Biden and Kamala.
Oh, I did not see that. Oh, awesome.
Dude, you got to
That's
find that one.
Oh,
That's
man.
choice.
That's good. My Oh geez, there's a couple that I really loved from the assassination memes. The one where they had pay scale, and they
Mhm.
had the male Secret Service guy up here, but the female Secret Service was all ducking behind Trump, hiding behind Trump, and that's the wage gap. That's what it was, wage gap.
I think I
So,
saw that
yeah.
one. Yeah, it had the
Yeah.
lines and it said, "This is the wage gap."
Yes.
It's like, yeah, one's protected him and one's.
And one's hiding behind him.
The thing is, he's quite a tall guy as well. So I was thinking, yeah, if you've got a woman who's only 5 foot something, and like,
Yeah.
it doesn't really work for trying
Why
to
do
get your
you
body in
put
front of him. His head's
in
still
front of
above,
a 6
you know,
foot
it's like,
something. Yeah, it
It's
So-
makes
like
no
6'2" or
sense.
something, or 6'3" or whatever he is. Yeah.
So did any of you guys see so Brandon Herrera, the YouTuber, he's
I
pretty
haven't
famous for
watched it.
doing he's pretty famous for doing like famous assassination
Yeah,
assassinations throughout history
recreations. Yeah,
and recreates them, and he actually tried to recreate the Trump shot to try and like just disprove a lot of the stupid stuff that's going around online. And he's like, yeah, so we picked up this, basically we figured out that it was the guy, the gun that the guy used was like a garbage tier DPMS AR with a, just a regular like unmagnified optic from like 30 years ago.
so
Like
it
this
didn't.
thing,
What was the scope? Because some people are saying the
Yeah.
scope was brilliant. Someone saying that it didn't have one at all. Like,
it was
what's
a
the
red
deal?
dot, basically, was what it was. It was just
Okay.
like
Basic.
a 1X mag, just like, I think,
Step up from the Iron Cross thing.
yeah, it was basically a red dot, was what it
Okay.
was. And I don't no idea like what quality it was, but they tried to basically replicate it by just finding the most garbage tier AR they could find with the most garbage optic they could find. They're like, yeah, at the distance that this was done at, like the whole dot like obscures his head. We're not sure if we can actually hit the target like right where it's supposed to have happened. So we know for a fact that 5.56 is not going to do the damage or any more or less damage depending on the that difference of range between being a little bit closer. So we're going to get a little closer, and they got just a little closer. Like, yeah, we still can't even actually see past the dot. It's really hard to see. And then they're like, okay, we're going to try it anyway and hope that we can do the shot right. And they pulled it off the first freaking
Oh no!
time. They're like, oh, oops.
Never mind.
And then they're like, okay, well, we did that. So anybody want to go ahead and gank the shooter? They actually had another dummy head set up for the shooter, and they recreated that shot as well.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it turns out 300 Win Mag will just make the brain eject from the head at 150 yards.
Good to know. JK's got a question. Was there one pew pewer or two? I don't know.
As
You guys
near as
have
we can
opinions.
tell right now, it appears that it was just one. I don't know what all the. I mean, I know there's a whole bunch of conspiracy theory stuff going around about it right now, but based on my own independent research as well as a whole bunch of other stuff that I've seen, it looks like it was just one dumbass with a really shitty AR.
Wow.
I can tell you the reason why, why there's this theory of the two. Like, just a couple of brief things that I saw. One was based on audio, particularly for somebody in the crowd, like recording
what
where
I
the
saw was
the
the
first three
audio.
shots sounded different to then there was about 6 quicker ones after. And somebody was saying that might have been like, say, like a guy in the building itself trying to take the actual kill shots, and then the guy on the roof realizing and shooting. Well, I don't know. It's a conspiracy sort of theory, but the thing that I thought was more plausible, if we just ignore the audio one, because it could be a reason why the audio sounded different. The one that was sounded
Let me
more
just say
plausible
this
was the
much.
trajectory of the heights and the stuff where it hit behind. Whether it
The
was
fact is, they fucking missed, and now they've just handed the election over to Donald Trump. So, at this point, the two shooters conspiracy is academic, in my opinion. Not saying we shouldn't investigate it,
they
but at the
misregarded, so
same
that's good.
point,
It's not academic because it's going to happen again because the government is part of the second shooter.
Yeah.
The second shooter was
we
a
kinda
government
knew
agent.
that.
So,
and there it goes.
Say the
Steve
line,
Stream. No, I'm just
FBI.
joking.
He was on our radar.
Meh.
he wasn't on the radar. He was on their payroll.
Yeah,
That's what I'm
that's
hearing.
that's the
yeah.
joke, Mighty.
There was-
Thank you for illustrating.
But yeah, there were so many things. There were so many strange things that it does make you think they were the ones
No,
doing it, rather than just a patsy on the roof that got shot for it.
Yeah.
I'm not
know.
just saying that as a conspiracy.
Yeah.
I've went through this like hardcore, and I have a show put together, but it's not going to be able to go up on YouTube,
Right.
and I'm probably not going to get to it tonight because of the Biden shit.
Mhm.
Just because of everything that happened. But there was certainly 2 shooters, and one was a federal agent. So
The thing that I would focus on if I was looking into that would be the height of the roof, like map it out the trajectory to Donald Trump's sort of that kind of height on him, and then the stuff in the background where it hit, where you can see, where like the rail of the bleachers, whatever you call it, where it hit. And then another one, if it was a little bit lower down from the building, almost straight across, and then see which one is feasible. And that would tell me then if that particular shot came from the guy on the roof or maybe somebody inside the building a little bit lower down. But that would take drawing it out, mapping it out with lines, and I haven't got time to do that, but I'm sure somebody will be doing it.
I have. That's why I'm saying, like, I have.
Oh, you've done that bit. Okay.
Like, I've been going for this entire week. I've been losing my mind, and I have everything. Like, there's no question in my mind. I've done it all. I've looked at everything. There were 2 different calibers of weapons. So, and he only had 1 gun. So,
Yep. So
Certainly
it's
sounded
grassy
like that
knoll.
on
It's
the-
grassy knoll 2.0 is what you're saying.
yeah.
Mhm.
Could be. Robert Barnes was saying something similar. I saw a little bit of, I forget who he was talking to. I don't know if you ever watch any of Robert Barnes' stuff. If you like Viva and Barnes.
I like Viva. I don't
Right.
watch their stuff very often unless it's in clip form later.
Yeah, I've kind of drifted away from them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I only see bits, but he was talking about that in specifically, and he I don't sort of always believe everything Barnes says, but he seemed to be kind of on the money with some of this, and he was going back about, like, in history about stuff to do with other assassinations and things like that. It's
Well-
certainly wouldn't be past the
Just-
it's been done before, so yeah.
Bringing
You know.
up Lee Harvey and JFK, looking back on it from this vantage point in history, we can see there's a shit ton of symbology all over the route that he was on, the route that they had changed to last minute. Symbology, a Freemason symbology all over the place. And apparently, when he died and was buried, as a final fuck you to JFK, the Masons managed to get one of their symbols on his headstone. I've not seen his headstone, a picture of it, so I don't know for sure, but that's the story that I've been told, is that he was going against the Freemason plan, which is why they had him killed. And I've seen the videos on the symbology of the layout of the location and whatnot, and it's really crazy. So I would not be surprised if the Freemasons really did put some sort of, angle or something on his headstone as a fuck you to him. I wouldn't be surprised. Just
I wonder
'cause
if that'll
it,
feature in your Bill Cooper things at some point, because you've got quite a few to do. I wonder if that'll turn up.
Yeah,
Mm.
he does. He does a whole series on JFK. He's the first one to bring out the Zapruder film unedited, untouched. He's the man that got his hands on the original Zapruder, which is the film that shows his driver shooting him. It looks pretty freaking right to me.
It's a subject I don't know that much about. I've never really looked into it that much.
Yeah.
It
See,
makes-
I
but-
love JFK theories. So
But one thing I'd heard, is this right, that he was opposed to some kind of financial thing that the government wanted, and that's probably the reason they got rid of him. Is that right?
he annoyed. Okay, I'm gonna tippy toe around this one. He apparently annoyed a certain sector. They didn't like what he did with Cuba. He stopped what was supposed to be another major war in Cuba or with Cuba or some such. That was before my time, but he did a lot of things. He wanted his own. He created the Green Berets to be the presidential protectors. He wanted to scrap the Secret Service altogether because he didn't trust them.
Go figure.
Sounds like he was right there.
It's the craziest thing. But he did a lot of things that pissed off a lot of the uber important that we may not necessarily know their names, but they control the world. You know, they're the ones who
Okay, so-
control the people we know about.
So it could have been
Yeah,
more than
the
one
shadow
thing.
government.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't
Yeah.
just like one thing. It could have been a
No,
few
he
different
was
people.
pissing off people in a bunch of different places. So
Chance, have you ever met Cheese?
Only in
American cheese.
comments. Yeah,
Oh.
I say things about Jesus and he gets a bit angry about it, I think.
You should talk to him someday. I'd be happy to facilitate that, especially if you
Yeah.
want to know about a
Yeah.
lot of things.
Cheese and I have brilliant discussions after I get out of church on Saturdays, but before I go to Bible study. I am usually in Mighty's Discord talking with Cheese, and neither one of us have ever changed the other's mind, but this discussion is so great. It's strengthened my beliefs because he's forcing me to go and do extra research that I wouldn't even know to think about looking for, right?
Yeah, I had a
So-
similar thing with a guy I used to work with in a factory who would come at me with very sort of like almost like anti-Christian stuff, but it would force me to look into it and say, okay, well, I'll have to research that and come back with an answer as to, you know, some of the stuff and challenges. So it's always good, you know,
Yeah.
to have those challenges.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll forever agree to disagree that Jesus's body was found in a tomb with the rest of his family members. I don't believe it. I believe there was an awful lot of people with the name of Jesus or with the name of James or with the name of Mary. I you know, I do not believe that one of the three, because there are three different tombs that are supposedly Jesus and his family, different members in each of the three, but there are three that are supposedly him and his family.
Now one of his comments makes sense now, because I'm sure I saw in the comment the other night he said they have his bones or something. I was like,
yeah.
no, I don't think so. But that'll
We
be where
will
that comes from
always
again.
have
Yeah.
to agree to disagree on that one. But he forced me to have to go and look. I had to go and look into each of the three and make sure that I did know what I was talking about and I wasn't just talking out my ass, right? Like the mark of Cain. I just assumed that it's on his forehead, but yeah, you just go and check and it's definitely not been stated specifically. It says there's a mark, but not where it is.
Yeah, like it might be,
So-
but we can't say definitively because it doesn't
Exactly. And so if he had brought that up as something, I would have had to go look and found that out and then, you know, give him that point in the debate. But the fact that he forces me to go and look at stuff and look things up, it helps immensely. And I love it because I love history as well. It's not just the biblical stuff, it's history in general, going digging through all sorts of old stuff to, you know, find one little line of information that'll prove that I am believing correctly or falsely. It's awesome. So yeah, if you're ever around in a Saturday, what would it be? 4:30 EST.
I'm
Let's
usually
see.
working.
Oh,
Although,
okay. Yeah.
oh, hang on. Well, I don't know. Yeah.
That'd be like
Saturday
10 o'clock
would
your
be-
time.
Oh no, I thought you meant my time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
That's
our
interesting.
time. Well,
Your time.
their time because I'm Pacific, so I'm 3 hours before everyone.
Right.
So that's why I can't get to Jeff's Vice's streams anymore. My man's his work schedule changed, so I'm up till 2:30 or 3 o'clock in the morning before I'm rolling into bed. And for me, Vice's starts at 5, so there's no way I'm getting up in just a few hours to watch the stream. It doesn't happen.
Right.
I take medicines every night to go to sleep and they conk me out. There's no way I'm getting up, you know, for Vices anymore, you know, and it sucks because I love his show. I really do appreciate everything he does. But I physically cannot get up for those shows anymore. So
Yeah, that is one of the things where it makes it harder. It's great to meet people from all around the world, but the timing thing can suck. Like,
Oh, yeah.
like I'm very rarely getting a chance to sort of jump on, say, onto one of Mighty Meat streams because it's usually like 2 a.m. here. I mean,
Yeah.
I did stay up the other night because I was about to sort of finish up and go to bed when the attempted assassination happened, and I saw Mike was live. I was like, okay, yeah, I'm not going to
Well,
bed
yeah, I'm
now.
not going to bed.
I think I was up till like nearly 4 a.m. or something. Hell no.
Yeah, big news happened. You know.
Yeah.
It's like, woo, hey.
Yeah.
It took me about 3 minutes after the event to get live. So
Wow.
Yeah,
So
you
you
were
reacted
quick.
faster than the Secret Service did.
fuck
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I saw the first like tweet about it, like, and it was dated like 7 minutes after it had happened, and I was like, "Holy shit!" Send it over to Mighty. He was already streaming. I was like, "Damn, bro!"
Way to go.
I
I
was
was like, "You're
on that.
fast on this." Maybe a little too fast.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh my goodness, Mighty. I had misunderstood. I thought you were actually full on Secret Service, which is
No,
what I
I-
told my man. And then you said as much that wasn't the case in one of your streams. And
Mhm.
my man looks at me dead in the eyes and he goes, "Okay, I trust him a bit more."
no, I work for the United States Department of Homeland Security, and
Okay.
the DHS backs up Secret Service. So when the
Right.
Secret Service is short, or a lot of times they don't have enough people to cover, so they deputize DHS, and
Right.
so
Yeah, no,
Okay.
you definitely you definitely went up a level in the trust pyramid with him.
You know what? I've cracked the case. I've cracked the case. Mighty was actually the second shooter, but he missed on purpose.
Oh.
Yeah, see, they did us all a solid by
Yes.
missing on purpose.
Yes.
good
I'm
job.
not that
Good job,
good of a
mate.
shot, so they
Trump
wouldn't
set
put
it
me on
up
that
and it was
detail.
yeah,
Well,
it was
we-
a purposeful miss.
Well, of course you aren't that good of a shot. That's how we know that the president's still alive.
Had you been a better shot, it would have happened. Come on now.
I'm former for a reason. I would not go back to work for those bastards under any
Yeah.
circumstance.
Ooh, OG saying I'll give Mighty a Secret Service.
Hell yeah,
What's the-
call me OG.
What's the old saying? Close enough for government work.
Yeah, good enough for government work. Yeah, yeah.
I'll dig it. I meant to ask you as well about your, because I've never asked about your name, the Digger 420. It made me think,
Oh.
although I think you answered it yourself earlier, but it made me think, you know, Joe Neerman, the following program,
Oh,
he
yeah.
calls his people diggers. And I was thinking, is it because of that? But it's not, is it? You had that?
No, I
No,
was
it's just a coincidence.
yeah, I'm old enough that I was there when the internet originally came into the home, and I needed to make up a name, and Digger was the name of one of my favorite characters at the time. I can't even remember. It was one of the old D&D books, you know, you little paperback thingies, but
Yep.
Digger was the character and I loved him to bits, and I had just discovered pot, so 420 was like the thing, you know. And unfortunately, all these years later, that's what everyone knows me as. You know, even people at IRL who knew me from high school, they know who Digger is. So I just kept it. And I'm old enough that I picked it so long ago that no one could use it elsewhere. And so I am Digger 420 in all but 2 forums.
Nice.
I think it's Rumble. I have to be 420, and I think it's Twitter. It might be Discord. One of those two won't let me be a Digger 420. I have to be a 420. So
That's stupid.
yeah, well,
That's kind of
you
like
know.
how on Twitter there's some kid in Japan who has Kaiser Pineapple with an S. I had
Oh.
to put mine as Kaiser Pineapple with a Z, just so that way I could get the name. Like, literally reached out, and like, this guy's account has been dead for like 12 years or something like that. I don't know how long it's been, but like, dude's account is like freaking dead as a doornail, and he lives in Japan or something like that. I'm like, can I just like buy that off you?
Yeah, please. It's like the woman who married a billionaire and then threw a fit trying to get the TikTok name or the Insta name from
Yeah.
someone else. Oh, what a twit.
Gross.
Let's see. Cheese says Lee Harvey Oswald stated he was used as a patsy and was then killed by Jack Ruby. Yes. And Lee Harvey Oswald had an awful lot to do with the rat cancer research and experimentation that was supposed to go towards killing Castro, which is why there's lore about him being seen in Cuba doing something completely different at one point. A woman that he dated came out, and Dr. I want to say Dr. Susan something. I'm horrible with names, so don't do me. But she actually harvested. They would give rats cancer or mice cancer, and then they would take the cancers and mix them up and give them to more mice and grow this cancer thing, so that they could eventually. What they wanted to do was, shoot them with a dart or something and give them speedy cancer, turbo cancer. That was the plan. And so that's what they were doing. And Lee Harvey Oswald apparently was the guy who gave a ride to the nurse who took the cancerous mice from one place to this doctor's apartment building where they would do the next step in the research. And coming full circle, that turbo cancer is being discovered in all the different RMNA injections. mRNA. Thank you. But yeah, it's being found. That's why there's such an uptick in turbo cancers, is because that substance has been found. Traces of it have been found in all the different injections, not just from one company, but from all the companies. So,
am I alone in thinking that we just, at this point, given all the as shitty as humans have become, do we just need a reset back to zero and start back at the beginning again? We fucked it up.
Can we have another Noah?
Well, I was gonna say, if you believe in Revelation, it's gonna come. It's coming. The Great White Throne Judgment. There's 1,000 years before that with other stuff, but then there's a Great White Throne Judgment. That's effectively the big reset. Yeah. And then there's new heavens and new earth.
Can I have a reset without the apocalypse?
Nah, that's the price you got to pay, buddy. There's got to be one apocalypse equals one reset.
That's very interesting. Dom at one point helped out with Dan Quayle, his campaign. There we go. Which is kind of interesting. Dan Quayle, I think, I was just too young to know or care or understand about it.
Oh, Vice President Potato? Yeah, famous for, going to a school spelling bee or some, like a school, some kid spelled potato on a chalkboard, and he's like, oh, you spelled that wrong, reaches out and put an E at the end of potato.
Oh.
And it was on camera.
There's an American president, wasn't there, and spelled it wrong.
Oh, no.
The kid was right. Yeah.
It was Dan Quayle.
Right.
Yeah, he was a VP.
Who was he VP for?
Oh, okay, vice president.
Yeah, I think he was VP for, I want to say he was VP for Bush, like HW.
Okay. Yeah.
I want to say, yeah. Yeah, Dan Quayle was, notoriously dumb. Yeah, did that whole thing where, they had it on camera, and some kid was like spelling potato, and he's like, oh, you forgot that, and yep, spelled it with an E at the end.
Oh, man.
And they're oh my God, he's an idiot.
Where did the E come from? Is that a British thing? Or...
Well, if you're doing it plural, if you're going to put potatoes, then
then
the E comes in. Yeah, so I guess he just made a mistake. Maybe wasn't the best at spelling. Could have been dyslexic. You don't know.
Okay, because I've seen it with the E before, and I know that's wrong, even though I spell color and rumor and neighbor, and I spell all that right. So I wasn't sure if that was something that was like a British or a Canadian thing, was the E, and I just missed it somehow.
No, only in plural.
We do a Z and a Z, so we managed to just absorb both. I thought maybe that was just another, like tomato and tomato.
And Americans, that's the bane of my life when it comes to computers, because every time we type various words which English has as the S, all computers think they're American and tries to change it to the Z or the Z, as you say. And it's like, stop it. Like if I write the word magazine, for example, there's a whole bunch of words where it keeps trying to change it to a Z, and I'm like, stop it. I'm sure there was one computer I had years ago where I actually found the source file for the, you got like the because you've got the different languages like French and German, and I think I found the US one and managed to delete it. I was like, yes, it's not, and then it stopped. Keep trying to change it to Americanized words, but
Yeah.
yeah.
I know.
Sorry, little rant over, but
No,
I mean,
autocorrect hates me and my proper spelling of things, and it drives me batty.
but at the same time, I can't sort of plead any kind of thing about my language because English is so a mixed match of different things, Latin and German and French, and it's such a mess. It doesn't make any sense. Like there was a Canadian comedian once who was saying something about some word, and then the British audience was like going against it. It's like, oh, shut up, he says, or I'll stab you with a knife. I was like, yeah, that's true, because that word doesn't make any sense either.
I say knife a lot.
She shared a
I
picture
do it
with you
on
there, Digger.
purpose, but yeah, I love that. My fork and knife.
I shared a picture there for you, Digger. I think y'all will get a kick out of it.
There we go. Oh, where am I doing? Scroll down. Oops. That's another thing too. My mouse has decided that when I hit the little scrolly button, it's going to do whatever it wants to do. It is not necessarily going to go where I go. It's getting very frustrating. Humor. Yeah. Flavor. Getting rid of
Okay, yeah, fair play.
Yeah, I like it.
You owe us 240 odd years of taxes. What are we up to now? Is it 248, something like that?
Something like that.
Say, what's the exchange rate on that in paying into your GDP for NATO?
Okay, we'll let you off.
I think we're missing a few back payments to NATO.
We all owe
How about
NATO.
we just call that? How about we just call that one even?
Bobby's got a point. Knights. I don't say knights.
Or in I like in the Monty Python, kniggets. With the French are taking them.
Apparently, there's an
stupid
actual
English nigget.
word for that. I
really?
gotta. There was actually a word for that. What was that? Oh, yeah, he was trying to say knights, but he's pronounced it.
Yeah, but he's doing it as
knights.
it's
Yeah,
spelled.
phonetic.
You can,
Yeah.
because it's like the French, aren't they? They're like, you silly English kniggets. He's just been in there.
It took me so many years to finally get that, and I'm like, I don't know what word he's using like as an insult, and then I'm like, wait a minute, knights, holy crap! I fart in your general direction. Your mother was a hamster, and your father smelt of elderberries.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
They're great movies.
Yeah.
Brilliant movies. Yeah.
Is there anyone else up there we could talk to? No, I'll go away or I shall taunt you a second time.
Because what I like as well is at the beginning, when they say they're going on a quest for the Holy Grail, and they're like, "Oh, we've already got one," and they're like, they pass it, they just fob it off. But then later on in the movie, that's where they end up back again because they did have one.
Yeah.
If I'm, that's where it was.
The castle of Ag.
That's
Don't
right.
Could they mean the come on? Where's that? France, I think. That little joke in there. They're like, oh, wait a minute. It was the French guys the whole time.
I will be right back. I have to break the seal there. I'll be back.
Okay.
Entertain the peoples.
So now every 5 minutes, now that she's broken the seal, that's how it works. She drinks.
Oh, Lordy. So.
Mikey's taking a look at me. He's saying WTF is dance saying. Although there's some words that Mikey sort of says kind of wrong, which I kind of like. It's kind of cute,
right?
Because I know in real life he's a really super intelligent guy. He's really intelligent, but there's just one or two words that he just kind of says wrong. And I don't know if I should say. Maybe wait till he comes back so he can. Yeah. Because if I say the word, then people know. Then they might pick up on it and be mean to him. But
yeah.
So Dom was saying that he was working. Was it VIP security for Dan Quayle? You've been very quiet, Dom. You haven't come on. I was gonna say, is there anything he wants to say about that? In light of what happened recently with oh well, that was quick.
Yeah.
Hey.
I live in a very tiny apartment. It's an almost 1 bedroom.
Well, I don't want to talk about the Trump thing because there's still not enough actual facts that are known, contributing to the conspiracy. All I can say is somebody shot a gun at Trump, the bullet hit his ear. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
About all anybody can say at this point.
And
Right.
it must have been
Everybody's going on and on about their conspiracies, about who did it, and was it a deep state hit, whatever. Well, I don't know.
And I don't
They
think we're
didn't
going to
get him.
ever really find out.
Well, yeah, it's going to be
didn't
like
get him.
no,
JFK. We're
not with the
gonna find
FBI,
out.
because don't
Yeah.
FBI have jurisdiction on the investigation, don't they?
Yeah,
So,
and say
yeah,
between
the
the
same ones that
FBI,
raided his
CIA,
place.
and all the other 3-letter organizations, we're never going to find out the truth.
No.
Now, what I will say about the Dan Quayle thing is I was working for local law enforcement, and I was deputized to work on the Dan Quayle thing. And the way that the Secret Service handled the security is Secret Service was only in charge of the actual building where the event was taking place. We were in
Okay.
charge of everything outside the building.
Okay,
In
that's
other words, there were not Secret Service guarding the perimeter where we were. And so
Okay.
we were the ones that were responsible for allowing people in, keeping people out, and we had direct communication with the Secret Service. So if and I forget what the code word was, but we had a code word, and if we said that code word on the radio, everything went on lockdown immediately.
yeah.
And apparently they didn't have that with Trump.
Huh.
So the local law enforcement, I think, was responsible for letting the shooter get on top of the building because it was outside the perimeter of the little parade ground speaking area. Okay.
Well, that's
The-
yeah. They're all blaming each other, which doesn't.
Well, yeah. But I just think, based on my experience, the local law enforcement was responsible for the front side of that building. And they
Okay,
let
so
the guy
if-
get on top of the building.
So if there should have been a code word, because somebody ran the time in, I think Joe Neerman sort of like listened to the words being spoken when people were pointing out to the cops there's a guy on the roof, and it was about 1 minute and 10 seconds
Yeah, the
between that
cops
and the
should have
shooting.
said that code word.
Well, if there was no code word, is that the fault of the Secret Service for not giving them a code word, or is it their fault for not saying, "Hey, shouldn't we have a code word"?
Well, there was a meeting ahead of time, and everything was agreed upon. Now, if the Secret Service had a meeting with local law enforcement and nobody ever brought that up, well, then there wouldn't have been a code word.
Right.
Shouldn't the Secret Service have known? Hey, we need to know if you guys on the outside see something. We need to know. Here's how you
Right.
tell it.
Well, they had a special channel.
Well, now I don't know about that either because I think since
Isn't that what they
9/11, we have all these mobile command centers. And I think Secret Service had a radio channel into the mobile command center, and local law enforcement had a different radio channel into the mobile command center. And whatever local law enforcement was saying probably had to go through the command center and then sent to the Secret Service. So that could have been a significant delay there because
Okay.
local law enforcement is saying something and the people inside the command center are hearing it. It's kind of like the game of telephone.
Right.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. What one person says
Changes.
isn't necessarily what they say to the next person.
Hmm.
Right.
So
Yeah, that makes
I think
I
that's-
don't know. We don't know these facts. This is my conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
Is that there was a huge disconnect between local law enforcement and Secret Service. We already know some of the people on the Secret Service detail were actually Homeland Security. They weren't even Secret Service.
Right, which is what I used to do. And in 2002, they switched it to a designated communication liaison between the local law enforcement, or in this case, PSP, and the United States Secret Service, which would have been on the same radio calls as anybody appointed through DHS. So that was
Right.
part of the thing, is there was a communication liaison after 9/11. So early part of 2002 that changed. So they don't communicate directly; they communicate through a liaison of the representative of the local law enforcement or state law enforcement to the federal services.
Right.
So that's
Whereas
already another
we all had the
person.
same radio channel.
Yeah, they don't anymore.
Right.
And I suppose that does give a feasibility to that delay between the
Mhm.
the 70 seconds.
Well, maybe not a
between
whole
people
minute.
saying,
Yeah.
well, minute and 10. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying it's a reasonable excuse. I'm saying that they could use it as a one, saying, well, there was
Right.
this breakdown in communication. It had to go to this point, this
Plausible
middle
deniability.
before. Yeah,
Yeah.
it gives them an excuse, doesn't it? Yeah.
Well, speaking
Anyway.
of plausible deniability, there, I need to actually go grab me a bite because I got to head out. And I've got another stream at 8 o'clock here, so I
No worries.
wanted to go ahead and just buzz out real quick. But Digger, thank you so much for inviting
Thank
me.
you.
Happy birthday!
Thank you.
Wonderful to see you as always, and
Yeah.
to everybody else on the panel, Mighty, Dom, Dance, good to see you guys, and thank you
Good to
all.
see you too, bud.
Yeah.
It's been too long, and we need to do more stuff more
Yes.
often.
For
'Cause,
sure.
yeah, we got to hang out more. But
Well,
anyway,
Yeah.
now that we have
That's all
Digger
for me.
roped in, we might get
Oh,
more
yeah.
of these.
True.
all right. Well,
Thank
that's
you
all for
so
me.
much.
But see you guys later. I will see you in the next video.
Right.
Take care,
Peace.
brother.
See you,
Aw.
Kaiser.
Yeah. See, we're
But Mighty,
We're all
you
old
pretty
school, aren't
much
we?
confirmed my suspicion that there was
Yeah.
a change in procedure.
Yeah, in 2002, I was on during Bush and Obama, and I did a bunch of security details for the candidate Obama and then the President Obama, through DHS, through liaison, and yeah, a bunch of our procedures changed. So basically, we do bubbles. So the outside events have a 500-yard bubble, which would have included this building and the in question water tower. So that was the Secret Service's jurisdiction, is a 500-yard bubble on the exterior. So I know a lot of people are
Okay.
saying it would have been locals, but locals, the Secret Service was a 500-yard bubble in this instance. So
Well, but what was the front of the building beyond the 500 yards? I don't see that. I don't know all
No,
the
it was-
details.
it was about 152 yards. So it was well within the entire
that- that-
building complex was within the 500
Well,
yards.
okay.
The shooter was at 152 yards. I'm saying the front of the building. I don't know how big the building was, and I don't know where the shooter was located on the building. I don't know. Like I
Yeah,
said,
he was towards
I don't know
the
details.
front right. Yeah, he was like towards
Yeah,
the front
not,
right.
not many.
so-
Not many. It's probably going to be from the front of the building to where he was. What, like maybe 20 yards or something? Not a lot.
I
Or
think
less, I don't know.
I
don't
think
know.
the image or the report says it was 140 yards to the front of the building, front facing side of the president, or where President Trump was. So that was
Okay.
within 140 as well. So
Well, and again, I don't know what their current procedure. You're saying that it was back in 2002. It was 500 yards. Is it still 500 yards? I don't know that detail.
well, I'm saying it the radio communication point changed and that, but yeah, I'm trying to remember exactly when I stopped. 2018, 2019.
okay.
So that would have been the procedural up till that, and the Secret Service report says their perimeter was 500 yards. So which is consistent with our operational procedures back in 2018. So
Well, that just points more fingers at the Secret Service then.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So OG's coming in. Guess Michael Jackson wasn't the only one to blow bubbles.
Oh,
Ba-doom-doom, ting. There's no
Gross.
question that it was intentional negligence, pretty much. You can't. There's no way. No matter who we end up or who they end up pointing the finger at, all of the different agencies working together, they were all negligent in
Well,
enough ways to allow this to happen.
Somebody
Someone,
fucked up. At
you've
the
heard
least.
you've read me put this in chat many times. 49% of the population is below average intelligence, and that 49% is spread fairly evenly across all occupations.
Mhm.
Mm.
Yeah.
There are stupid doctors, there are stupid lawyers, stupid
Yeah.
politicians. Not everybody is smart.
Right.
Yeah.
They just win the
Unfortunately.
popularity contest.
Well, it's been like that since JFK. That's how he got in, was because they used photos and video, and all
Right.
of a sudden his opponent is sweating bullets and speaking and stammering, and who are you going to vote for?
Yep.
one-
Bobby's yelling 2018 in Gorilla, and he says
What?
he's stupid in many ways. I don't.
Bobby is stupid, but I love him so much.
That's why Bobby and I get along so well, is because we got that same level of stupidity that we can
Not as
we
much as
balance
cheese,
each other
but
out.
we know that.
Well,
you know, I
cheese
love
is
cheese.
a special. Yeah, cheese is a special all on his own.
One thing I thought was interesting about the actual hit to the ear, and Brandon Herrera, I think, like you said, has done the recreation and stuff like that, is it must have been such a tiny graze, because even if it hit the ear slightly in, just the velocity of that type of round, I think, would have just obliterated half of his ear. You know what I mean? And so it must have been the minutest of grazes, just in my opinion, because that's why, Mikey, when it was happening, we were talking, I was thinking, was it like a small round, like a 2.2 or something? Because surely if it was like a normal AR round, it would, like, his ear would have been all in bits. So, but
That's what I'm
it just
waiting
shows how
for.
close it must have been. Just such a, you know what I mean? Because it.
Mhm.
Because
I
I think
want to
even
see
Brandon
his
Herrera
ear.
slow motion, and it looked like the ear would have been the right mess. But I haven't seen it
Yeah.
properly. I haven't seen this video yet fully.
I want to.
I've
I
seen
want to
some.
see Trump's ear with the bandage gone. I want to see just what damage is there, because, yeah, from a special effects makeup perspective, I mean, I've done lip rips, I've done arm tears. There is an amount of damage that can be done before it's, like it. In order to get the small amount of blood that he actually got dripping on his face, and the fact, I mean, it's his ear there, it must have just grazed, there's no way there's
like
a
the tiniest
hole
of
in his
amounts.
ear.
Like, no, it didn't
Yeah,
go right through his ear.
he doesn't
It would
have a
been,
hole.
he
He's
was-
not missing the
no.
top half of his ear. It
It's
must
just
have
sliced,
barely.
just barely sliced.
Yeah.
I've got this the wrong way. Yeah, it must have just barely
Yeah.
sliced. So close.
So allegedly, the congressman doctor, put out a report, and it went through the cartilage portion of his upper ear, in his earlobe, and it said it didn't require stitches, blah blah blah. But it seems to be the most perfect place that it literally could have hit him.
Yeah.
Like it's just the fact of where the placement was is insane. Like, it is so crazy how close it was.
Yeah.
Well, I've got obviously certain beliefs about how I think he was protected for a certain purpose and time. It's not his time yet. But
Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of people have that feeling. I know, since I think it was you that mentioned it first, Mighty, the 6/11, Ephesians 6/11. That's the time that Trump was shot, and Ephesians 6/11 is put on the armor of God, and I think 11 specifically is holding up the shield, I believe.
It's
My
the helmet
Bible's
of
right
salvation, is it? The shield to quench the fiery darts of the devil, and
Yeah.
Ephesians. Actually,
Hang
one
on,
thing I was just
I'll
going to
look it
say to Mikey. Sorry if you've not heard about this one, Digger, but you know how Mikey, we were talking about I showed you that video of that guy who 3 months ago was saying, pretty much said as a prophecy what was going to happen with a bullet whipping past his ear and stuff. Some people have been sort of discrediting that, saying, but the guy was saying that his eardrum had busted, but obviously that didn't happen. But I'm not as harsh on that, because I'm thinking, well, actually, he was just trying to describe what he saw. He's even actually explained this after. And he said, well, I get these visions I'm seeing this thing where he saw it almost like the Matrix style with the ripples of the bullet going past so close to his ear, and the next thing he sees like the blood on his face and stuff. So he just assumed, oh, his eardrum must have burst. So he's kind of misspoken. He said that I've added into that, like accidentally, I've added into that when I should have just described what I saw. I just saw that there was blood on his face near his ear.
That's like me
yeah.
assuming that the mark of Cain is on the forehead. I'm just assuming that.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Adding
I'm
in
kind of
where
filling
yeah,
in. Yeah. Well, that makes
So
sense.
I got two things real quick. Ephesians 6:11 says, "Put on the whole armor of God, that you may be able to stand
What is
against
the
the
whole
schemes of the devil." That's
Okay.
what the whole thing reads. And then the second portion of that, how is that not blasphemy to say you're having visions and shit? Like, just personally, from my limited knowledge, and of course I know nothing. So
What you mean?
talk to me
Say
like
people
I'm
saying that
10.
they've had prophecy? You mean like been given a vision of God of something? Well, it's all
Yeah,
throughout the Bible. The prophets in the Old Testament and stuff were always like, but there was usually like one main prophet of Israel at the time
Mm-hmm.
who would sometimes advise the king or something, and would say, yeah, that's a biblical thing. So that's God's always kind of allowed that in terms of biblical stuff. So I
because
don't
the
see how
vision
that would,
thing, the
Sorry, go
vision
on.
thing always makes me think that it's I don't know, that it's not above board, but I don't know. So I'm just telling you
Think
my
we
I always
maybe
take it with
Ralph-
a large pinch of salt. Yeah, I always take it very like these the dodgy ground. When people say I've had this dream, I've had this vision, and this is going to happen, I'm always a bit like, yeah, we'll test it and see. And if they're
Mhm.
completely wrong, it's like, well, you're a false prophet, and shouldn't. Yeah, but
I
that guy so
actually-
far, some of the other stuff he said, I'll keep an eye out and see if it happens. I don't know about him. I'm 50-50, but like I take everything like that with a pinch of salt. And
Okay.
I'd imagine Digger probably does the same. I don't know. I can't speak.
Yeah.
For Digger, but.
Joan of Arc should have helped. Ask her how the visions helped her. Well, depending on who you're at, she may be very happy with the end result. She didn't seem to have too much of a problem as she was being burned at the stake. She was quite confident in her faith, and that didn't seem to bother her the way she went out. So I don't know. I wouldn't be able to be that calm when I'm being burned alive. Speaking of prophecy, it's interesting because, like I said, Seventh-day Adventists specifically have Ellen G. White. They consider her as a prophetess. The Bible says there will always be prophets. Many will be false, but prophets tend, from my understanding, you tend to see more of them or hear from them more during pivotal moments in history. So I'm not surprised that there's a lot of people seeing or having prophetic visions about the times right now. It's up to us to figure out which ones are right and which ones are wrong. And that's kind of, but there's one gentleman I watch rarely, but he claims to be a prophet of God.
Okay.
I don't know whether he is or not. I have no idea, but he just did. Yeah, it was yesterday. It was Sabbath morning. I watched his video. He claims to have had a vision from God. He'd gotten it before, but he didn't quite understand, so he had to ask for clarity. But basically, the prophecy is that they are going to release a new illness into the world. It's going to affect it's basically going to feel like you've got a cold. Maybe you might have a mild flu. No big deal. You're going to get over it before you really realize that you've got it. But once you've had that illness, the world is going to start to notice that their memory is failing. It'll be like Alzheimer's on speed, but it's the whole world. So whatever has been released into the air. So everyone's going to feel like they had a cold or whatever, get over it really quick. But people in general, memories are going to start to fail. And at the same time, Big Pharma is going to come out with a brand new miracle Alzheimer cure. And this is going to be purported to be the thing, and everyone's going to take it. Unfortunately, it does something to you. The only reason I mention it at all is because I have heard for a long time about supposed illness being released into the world airborne. That's really not going to be much of anything. It's going to be, a cold and nothing, really no big deal. But I have also heard for the last couple of years specifically, a lot of claims about strides and advances in Alzheimer's. And there's a lot of new medications out there that are purporting to cure this memory loss. So the man said in his prophecy, God said we would understand what is the drug that they're going to purport is going to be the cure to the memory. You're going to know that it's the bad one because the symbol on the box is going to be a tiny little, it's going to look like an upside down T or an upside down cross. But it's going to be one of those symbols. I wish I had skincare with me. Here we go.
This
Okay.
is why we all need Neuralink quick.
Yeah. So you can see I've got this cell phone here. It's a backup, but there's all sorts of little symbols like the CE and whatnot. Our medication comes with that too. It has a VIN number on it. It has best before. Once opened, you get 12 months. All these little tiny little symbols that no one really pays attention to, but they're there to give certain information. So we're supposed to keep an eye out. And if we start to notice a worldwide sort of amnesia thing or memory loss thing starting to happen, keep an eye on all of your OTC medicines, all of your prescription medicines. Just make sure that little symbol isn't there.
Huh.
So that's all he's got. That's the information that he was given. That's all he's got. You guys can take it with a small or a huge grain of salt. But the long and the short of it is, if you start to see across the world a general loss of memory function, and then people start coming in with new medicines to treat such a thing, be wary.
Well, I'd
So-
like to think I'd be wary of that anyway. but but yeah,
But
no.
I've
I was
noticed
gonna say-
that people are starting to say a lot of people since COVID. I've noticed people are having memory issues, and because I've noticed a few people say things, and it's like, well, yeah, I know, I deal with that, but I've got a reason to deal with that. I've got health issues that cause it, so it makes sense. Why are you, who's totally healthy, having the same health issues, the same memory issues?
Yeah.
So
But
it
like I say,
twigged.
when it comes to, like, say, people's like visions or prophecy, I always take it with like I'd say, a massive grain of salt, and I think it's right to be wary of it and test things
Yeah.
and see what actually comes to pass. But just to answer what Mighty Meat was saying like earlier, it is Amos 3:7, which says, "Surely the sovereign Lord does nothing without revealing his plan to his servants, the prophets." And all throughout the Old Testament, there was prophets. There was even a whole bunch of them when Elijah went up, that they knew he was going to go up that day and stuff like that. So it's not necessarily some kind of blasphemy or something for people to have prophecy. Like, obviously, the whole book of Revelation was John's prophecy visions he had
Yeah.
whilst on the Isle of Patmos about the end times. But I'm always very wary because there's so many people on YouTube who'll just put stuff like, I had this vision of God and he said that this is going to happen. And it's like, loads of it doesn't happen. And it's like, there's a lot of false
Exactly.
prophets out there. So we've got to just watch, be wise, test things,
Yeah.
think, okay, well, I'll put that in the back of my mind and keep an eye out and see if that comes to pass,
And that's
but the
yeah,
guy
that's
with
what
the
I'm
ear,
saying with
the
this
guy that described the ear was so precise that it made me at least take notice and have a little look at
Yeah.
some of the stuff he had to say. Whether, I mean, again, he might be completely wrong about other stuff that he's saying is going to happen, but I'm just keeping an eye on it because it's interesting.
Yeah. And that's why
Yeah.
I'm thinking of this guy with the little upside down cross insignia on the medicines. I would take it with a huge grain of salt, but I also know that I've heard a lot of these things happening from all sorts of different sources. So it was enough that it twigged in my memory that I had been hearing these things. So just, keep it in mind. If people start losing their memory all of a sudden in huge masses, maybe make sure there's no upside down cross on your medicine is all.
Yeah.
Yes.
Not to interrupt the discussion, but I'm going to go ahead and bail out. I've got to go do
Oh,
my
you've got your
show.
music hit. Yeah.
And happy, happy, happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you for being there with the smart ass comments all the time.
Okay. Bye bye now.
Oh, and thanks for
Bye.
the insight
Take care.
about the thanks for that insight about the stuff was really interesting about the protection.
Well,
Yeah,
mhm.
yeah, cool. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, that clears. I mean, that just answers or ticks more boxes and clears up questions. And that's
Yeah,
the
so
thing with internet is we can do that. We can all talk together, and that's the double-edged sword. Is they can spew all sorts of propaganda all over the place, but we can also speak all the time and compare notes. I love the fact that I got people, in Ireland and Germany and over in Japan and South Korea. We can all exchange notes, and we all know what we're all hearing from our own governments and news agents. And it helps me to really put it all together and decide what I'm feeling was most likely. I have
Yeah.
to say, I just saw LJ. Thank you so much, LJ. It's so great that you stopped by. Thank you so much.
I mean, but is losing your memory the worst thing? I mean, I would love to forget all the things Bobby's done to me in truck stop bathrooms. So,
Oh,
but
come on. You want to remember that for the last of you. You don't want to forget that.
some of them were pretty terrifying.
That's what makes it fun.
But yeah, it was interesting to see that in Domesday they would have had a word that if they say that word, it means protect the protected person right now, get them off
Yeah.
wherever they are, just get them out of here because
No
something's going
matter
down.
what.
Regardless, yeah, it means if somebody's broken through a fence or whatever they see, this particular
Right.
code word means right. It's stop. It's go time. It's get them out of here, and they clearly didn't have that in place. Like Mighty said, there's this new thing where they've got a central thing now where the local police forces, whatever, speak to them, and then they have to relay it to the Secret Service, and there was no special word.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, again, whether it still takes a minute and 10 seconds, it shouldn't. But
Yeah.
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's definitely dodginess going on. I think it's going to be
Peggy's
one of those
right.
interesting things.
It shall come
Yep.
to pass afterwards that I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh, and your sons and your daughters shall prophesy, your old men shall dream dreams.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
it's to prophesy. So people, yeah, it even says that people. And
It's
the
not-
bit before that, it says in the end, last days. That's what the time frame is talking about. That particular scripture. If you look at the verse before, I think it is.
Your young men
Your young men shall see visions.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's not all to be disregarded, but it's to be taken very carefully and not to just jump into everything and go, oh yeah, this guy said this is going to happen, so that's
gotta
going to happen.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
No.
The problem with a lot of prophecy is you can't tell that it's real or right until it's happened, right?
Yeah, until after the fact. Yeah. Like.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's why we're, in some ways we're very lucky. We've got the entire Old and New Testament full of prophecy, and we're sitting at the end times. I don't know if we're at the end or not. Like people,
Not yet. Getting close.
we want to discuss that, but we all agree that we are on the back end of the Bible, right? We are there.
Like the
And-
first ever one was in Genesis 3, wasn't it? When God Himself said about the serpent, and He said, "Was it her seed? Your seed shall." Yeah, hang on. The seed of the woman will crush your head, and your seed will bruise his
Will
heel.
bruise his
And it was
heel.
referring to the cross, basically. In the we've
Yeah.
got in hindsight, we can see the whole thing, like in loads of stuff. There's
Exactly.
loads of Old Testament stuff that talks about Jesus coming and about how He would die and about how He would be like wounded for us and all and pierced for us and all that kind of stuff. So I'm
we're lucky.
quite
to
happy
be
to
on.
be at this. We're lucky to be at this, where we are, so we
Yeah.
can look back and go, yeah, all this stuff made sense.
Yeah,
But,
it's a lot easier to
um,
have faith on things that you can look at from hindsight and say, okay, well, that did all happen. So, it must have been much harder for
Yeah.
people before
Oh, it's-
Jesus to.
especially the stuff from Daniel to Palm Sunday to the day, the 490 years or whatever it was. Like,
Yeah.
the exact,
To
and that's
have
why they were all.
faith.
Yeah. So, but I'm gonna have to say happy birthday and roll on out of here because it's coming up to 1 a.m. here. So
No worries.
But I just really
I've,
wanted to wish you a happy birthday and many happy returns and all that stuff.
Thank you. I really appreciate this, and we're definitely going to have to do this again. So we'll figure it out because
Yeah, it's
these are
good fun.
discussions I love to have. So
And the great
I'll
thing
do it
is, it's
anytime.
your stream. You can do whatever you want. You can talk about whatever
I
you want.
know, right?
And if you want me to shut up on a subject, you just say, Dan, shut up, and I will.
Hey!
Because it's your stream.
I could even mute you if I wanted.
Well, yeah,
You
you've
don't
got
even
the
have to
power. Cool. Anyway, Mikey as well. Great
Thank
to see
you
you, buddy.
so much.
And
Yep,
have
take care,
a great rest of the day. All right, love you. Bye.
Thank you.
Take care.
Well,
That
yeah.
number
So if you
2.
guys did appreciate any of this conversation, you know where to find us Tuesdays on Mighty's channel. It's 5:30 my time. So what is that? 8:30 yours?
Yep, just
Okay.
about. I think.
All right.
No, it's 8 o'clock right now, my time.
Oh no, I mean for our streams, our Tuesday streams.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. So it's 8:30 my time.
8:30.
Yep.
Yeah. And that's exactly it. AP prophecies can change all the time. And we really don't know until we get to the other side of them whether it was a true prophecy or not.
Yeah.
So, yeah. What's in band camp? And Bobby's banning dance.
Don't do
I'll
that. He's a good guy. He's
We'll see you
misguided on
Tuesday,
some things.
Peggy.
but-
Thank you. Oh, Bobby's gonna dab. Oh, I think honestly, it's almost 5 o'clock my time, so I think this has been a brilliant stream. I've had a blast. You friends are amazing. You, you really are. You've made my life so much more open and involved, and I love it. I appreciate you guys so much. I'm gonna dab so I can dab, but thank you for being here, and Mighty, thank you so much for being here, for hosting my first online birthday. Thank you for the stream that we do on Tuesdays. You really are one of the most important friends I've made online. So I really do appreciate you. You and Bobby and Shenny and a few other people. I'm not going to start naming names or I'll forget someone and get in trouble. But
Of course.
you three specifically and particularly have become actual real friends. So thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And happy birthday. And it's awesome. I love doing obviously the shows with you and everything. So, and
Yeah.
you're pretty cool, even though you're Canadian. So, you know.
I know. I try to make up for it. I'm sorry.
There we go. But
Yeah. All right. Well, I don't have an outro because I've not done this before, but I love you all. That's probably a cat on a pillow because they do have their own pillows too. I love you all, and I'll see you all next time. All right. Bye.